It's showtime. Showtime. Saturday night. Showtime. It's June 1st. It's Saturday, June 1st, 2024. Welcome to everybody. Sorry for the tardiness, but I'm here nevertheless. Let me go ahead and keep this damn laptop charged. And get started by listening to some of these Hebrew Israelite breakdowns. That's what this whole joint is about. So let me put that on. I'll share the screen with you real quick, and then we'll talk about it. So please bear with me. And appreciate you guys coming through. Let's go ahead and take a listen to some of these Hebrew Israelite breakdowns.
Father and mother, they still look alike. We all looked alike. There was no difference. Okay, different shades of color, but still the same. Before we get that, how did they get to the part of that world? Get that for me. You know what I want. 2 Ezra 13 and 40. All right. This is also found in the Apocrypha. Okay. Also named what? The Book of Secrets, right? The hidden book. Excuse me. The hidden books. Read.
2 Ezra chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes.
Those are the what?
10 tribes.
Yes, it's in the Bible. Those are the 10 tribes. Pull up the chart one more time.
This is the 10 tribes breakdown. So this is one of the first things I wanted to listen to is the 12 tribes breakdown for sure. The 10 tribes, 12 tribes breakdown, whatever you want to call it. And this is particularly done by IUIC. See, they feel a little brave. They kind of remind me of Tazadakia and ICGJC, where they try to get brave and break these things down. And it's like there's no real breakdown to the 10 tribes breakdown, to the 12 tribes breakdown. The whole thing is so vague. But let's get back to this guy right here.
Pull up the chart so we can see it. And then read this real quick. Pull up the chart. There we go. 10 tribes: Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Zebulun, Gad, Reuben, Asher, Issachar, Naphtali. Okay, that's the 10 tribes. Remember, we read about the separation during the time of what? King Rehoboam, because of the sins of King Solomon, right? Okay, now read.
Those are the 10 tribes.
He be trying to sound all intelligent by saying Issachar instead of Issachar and shit. Like,
which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
Out of their own land. They were carried away by who? King Solomon Manasseh. It was carried away. Come on.
In the time of Osea the king, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive.
That was during 722 BC. Again, 722 BC.
722
and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
They came into what?
Another land.
They came into the another land. Read.
But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Read.
That they might.
Where never mankind dwelt. It's very important that we focus in on what that means, because in the Americas in 722 BC, 733 BC, whatever you want to, that time frame, 8th century, 7th century BCE, what they call it now, before Common Era. I'm sorry, there were already people here at that time. There have been people in the Americas for over 15,000 years. How about them apples? So this guy sounds very smart, and what he was going to do, or what he did in this whole breakdown, was bring out books where there are Edomites, or whatever you want to call these cats, telling you that that the Native Americans here, they seem very much similar to Jewish people, and they keep Jewish customs. And we're gonna go to these customs that they say that they keep, and I'm gonna show you one in particular, the circumcision custom, and how they don't know what the fuck they talking about.
There keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Okay, remember, predominantly they were in the east. Okay, so what happened? They took counsel amongst themselves through time after they were given permission to leave. Then they took the trip out of the country. If we could bring up that map of the so-called Middle East, so we could see. If you could pull up a map, let me know when you got it. But keep reading, keep reading.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages.
So that was their point of entry. That was their point of traveling. The Euphrates. Read.
Of the river.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood.
He made it possible for them to be able to travel. It wasn't just one large boat. All right. It was multiple boats.
Where are these boats, I wonder, that this cat is talking about? These boats, there should have been any material found. Some type of material would have been found here in the Americas that would connect this Assyrian ships, man. In the Americas, there were never any Assyrian ships ever found in the Americas, man. These guys don't have any like corroborating evidence ever. All they ever do is like translate and interpret scriptures and try to tell you, well, this sounds and coincides and it's consistent with what it says here because it's a new land. And it wasn't America a new land? But when did it become a new land? These same people will tell you that Christopher Columbus didn't discover shit. So when was it that they came out here? It wasn't in 722 BC or 733 BC. There's been people in the Americas, and you can look up the Anzac 1 child. You can look up the Sunrise child. And these are bodies, man. Fossils, man. Bones that were found, which is much better than some written document that you don't know who wrote it. You got bones, man, that are found, that are being pulled out. And they're comparing the genetics of these ancient Paleo-Indians, Paleo-Americans, and it connects with ancient Siberians. Do you think that I'm lying to you? Why would I lie to you? I have nothing to gain by telling you this. But these motherfuckers have so much to gain by telling you that you're actually an Israelite. And guess what? I'm a leader in the Hebrew Israelite IUIC. So you should join up with me and you don't gotta pay no tithes, but there are alms, brother. They're gonna get you, man. Trust me, I've been there. There's never been any ships found here in the Americas that belong to any part of the Middle East.
Multiple boats. Remember, you have 10 tribes of Israel. All right, that thousands upon thousands. Okay, read.
Till they passed over.
And he calmed the water.
Passed over what? What did they pass over? They passed over the river Euphrates, man. That's what they passed over. He's going to want to tell you that they passed over oceans and seas. And there were multiple ships, man. There were thousands of people traveling to the Americas, man. And there's never been anybody over here? You're lying, man. This is straight bullshit. Let's continue this bullshit. And it's egregious. It's very grievous to listen to, but we're gonna do it.
Orders, read.
For through that country there was a great way to go.
How long?
And he doesn't even address the fact that he just said through that country. And this is where they skim right over it. It says through that country there was a great way to go. Through a country? First of all, what country was it? And I mean, first and foremost, if you're going through a country, you're not on ships coming to the Americas from Assyria through the river Euphrates that goes into the Arabian Sea, I believe it's called, or the Persian Sea, the Persian Gulf. And then it goes into, so the Gulf goes into the sea, and then the sea goes into the ocean. That's what it is. A river goes into the Gulf goes into the sea goes into the ocean. And they were passed over what? Until they were passed over, he was talking about the river Euphrates. They passed over the river Euphrates. And this terminology was used in the book of Joshua, chapter 4, verse 22. We could go to that real quick. This is the NIV version. Let's look up the KJV since they love the KJV. I'd rather it be the KJV. Joshua 4:22 through 23. That's what it is. 2:23. It says, oop. Yeah, if we could get the KJV, that'd be just great. All right, there you go. All right. Is this really the King James version? Yeah, it does say that. Okay, so y'all can see y'all can't see that yet, right? Boom. Ow. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. So damn, Timu's all over the place with the fucking ads. Peace out. Bye. All right, so it says Joshua 4:22. What was going on in the book of Joshua? Peoples. What was going on? They were coming out of the land of Egypt, right? And coming out of the land of Egypt, they were crossing. They crossed over the Red Sea, which was supposed to be this miracle. Okay. Now it happened again, according to the Bible. It happened during the time of Joshua, where they crossed over the Jordan River. And look what it says here. In verse 23, it says, "For the Lord God dried up the waters of Jordan from before you until ye were passed over." Are you still waking up Israel? Israel, who's Israel? Because Israel, what does that mean? Isaiah 8:20, what's that? Isaiah 8:20. Let me guess. Man, that sounds so familiar. Yeah, anyways. Welcome to everybody out here. But you can see that where it says, until you were passed over. Yeah, you didn't get the troops, you didn't get the truth by the camps, but I'm wondering where you heard the truth from, because maybe you heard it from somebody that heard it from the camps. Jimmy Jordan was good, my brother. So we could see that there's another verse in the book of Joshua where they crossed over dry land, the Jordan River, and it still says that they passed over. Do you see that? I mean, clearly it says that until you were passed over. So let's go back.
Namely, of a year and a half.
A year and a half. The travel took a year and a half. They had to get
till they passed over.
Traveling the Euphrates, read,
of the river.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood.
He made it possible for them to be able to travel. It wasn't just one large boat. All right, it was multiple boats, multiple boats. Remember, you have 10 tribes of Israel. All right, that thousands upon thousands. Okay, read.
And they just skip over, like what the scriptures are telling you, man. They skip right over it to try to lie to you. The camps became stumbling blocks for my family. Confusion. All right, brother. Well, hopefully we can get to some truth today, right? Because depending on what you believe, based on what you were taught by your family, I mean, it's going to be very persuasive. It's your family. Maybe you were young. But I'm going to destroy this whole thing right now, man. I mean, there's going to be no doubt. First of all, these guys don't even explain what they're trying to tell you. And like, they don't go into the actual intricacies, the little, the little, every line upon line, they say, right? Isaiah.
Till they passed over.
He calmed the waters, read.
For through that country, there
So that's a lie right there.
And a half.
A year and a half. The travel took a year and a half. They had to get provisions. Okay.
Till the flood.
He made it possible for them to.
Till the flood. Were kept in their own land.
Okay. Remember, predominantly they were in what? East. Okay. So what happened? They took counsel amongst themselves through time after they were given permission to leave. Then they took the trip out of the country. If we could bring up that map of
Crazy.
The so-called Middle East, so we could see
the so-called Middle East.
If you could pull up a map, let me know when you got it. But keep reading.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage.
So that was their point of entry. That was their point of traveling. The Euphrates. Read.
All it mentions is the Euphrates, because that's the only place that they entered. They entered and exited the Euphrates. That's what happened, man. But he's trying to tell you that they entered the Euphrates and took the Euphrates River all the way to the Persian Gulf, all the way to the Arabian Sea, and past that to the Indian Ocean. And then where did they go from there? Did they go east or west? Was it the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean? Be specific. Was it the Pacific or the Atlantic? They can't be specific. They can't tell you. This nigga is lying through his tooths.
Of the river.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood.
He made it possible for them to be able to travel. It wasn't just one large boat. All right.
He made it possible for them to travel by stopping the river stream. The river currents were stopped in the Euphrates, and then they were able to cross the Euphrates River. That's it, man. That's what happened. These guys are going the extra mile and trying to tell you something that the Bible doesn't even tell you.
It was multiple boats.
Where does it say that?
Multiple boats. Remember, you have 10 tribes of Israel. All right, that thousands upon thousands. Okay, read.
Crazy.
Till they passed over.
And he calmed the waters. Read.
For through
he calmed. See, they're lying by saying that when he stopped the springs of the stream, that means, oh, he just calmed the waters. No, man, he stopped the fucking streams of the river, the current that came from the river, according to the scripture. Now, I don't believe that this even ever happened, man. I don't believe that this even ever happened. There's no proof that it happened, man. You got to take it on faith. What the hell is faith? Faith is the evidence that's provided when you don't have proof. Faith is a reason given when you don't have any evidence. You just give faith. And it becomes okay now. Listen, man, when it tells you that he stayed the springs of the stream is the river, and he stayed the springs, meaning he stopped the springs. A river flows, and now there's no longer any flow to this river, and now they can pass over very easily. He wants to tell you that, nah, this was just their trip, their voyage. This is a voyage across many waters. No, he calmed those waters. Like, what do you mean he calmed those? The waters are naturally just fucking crazy? And what ships did they take, man? Where is the evidence that there are any wreckage or any remains of Assyrian ships? Because you can even research the wood that they would get. The wood that's in Assyria to make ships is not the same wood that's going to be in the Americas. And they will be able to tell this shit, man. And then there's something that's off now with what is corroborated in what's natural, just normally assumed. That it wasn't no voyage, man. I mean, the ships, there's no ships that were ever found from Assyria, man. That never happened, man. This is just a straight up lie. real quick, since we're on this topic, because this is a 10 tribe, breakdown and all that shit. Why don't we look at the Anzic one? This is what we're going to be having to look at. If we're going to talk about, Middle Eastern. We're going to talk about who the Native Americans are, if they're Middle Eastern. Let's see what the evidence shows, man. It's not on this side of the Hebrew Israelites, by the way. Spoiler alert. The Anzic one was a young 1 to 2 year old Paleo-Indian child whose remains were found in South Central Montana, United States in 1968. He has been dated to 12,990 to 12,840. There is only 150-year what do they call it? Error margin. 150 years. That's the time frame they're giving you. That's the Anzic one child. What are these people doing over here in the Americas in 1200 BC, man? If you're telling me that in 722 BC, the Native Americans, the Israelites, who are the real Native Americans, they got over here somehow magically they escaped the captivity. Now, not only were they in captivity already with the Assyrians, they escaped the captivity, overthrew the rulership, took their ships. Did you make ships in Assyria as slaves? You made your own ships. It tells you in 2 Kings chapter 19 where they were at too. They were in Haram and they were in, I forget the other name of the city. And these cities are north of Syria. This is not even close to the capital of Assyria, which would be Nineveh. It wasn't even over there. This is actually more northwest. You can look this up. I think it's 2 Kings 17 and 9. All right, let's just look it up. Because it tells you where they were at. Or is it 19 and 7? I probably got the goddamn scriptures mixed up. Let me see. KJV. I think it's 19, right? 2 Kings 19, 7. I got it backwards. Dyslexia. All right. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. All right. Let's see. The KJV version. Oh, that's not even it. Damn, I'm all fucked up on that scripture. Thought I had that joint. Let's see. Boom. Oh, 19 and 7, right? All right. 2 Kings. Israel was placed in Haram. I think this is Haram. Damn, I forget what that scripture is now. Somebody in the chat, if you could shout that out. What up, Jim Green? Welcome. Christian apologist right here. I don't know if that's the proper title to call you, but then you got, thank you, bro. These ninjas added a whole ocean to the word river and stream. Yeah, that's what they're doing, man. This is what they're not addressing with the breakdown of 2 Kings, or the breakdown of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, the breakdown, as they like to say. Damn, now I can't even think of that scripture where it tells you where the children of Israel were. 2 Kings, Samaria, conquest. So if you just look at this right here, it tells you that according to the Bible, King Sargon of Assyria conquered Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom of Israel, in 722 BCE, after a 3-year siege. The siege was started by Shalmaneser V during his reign, and Sargon II's inscriptions boast of his conquest. One inscription, the Nimrod prism, states that Sargon II settled the inhabitants of Samaria in the midst of Assyria and repopulated Samaria more than before. There were Assyrians coming through all over Samaria, man. And the 10 tribes were all mixed into Assyria. They assimilated, man. But let's look this up. This is Sennacherib's prism is really what it is. Sennacherib's prism. What does Sennacherib's prism actually say? Or Sennacherib's annals? Well, let's look it up, how they found it and all of that. Let's look up the history. If you can see that real quick. Can you see that? Oh, my bad. There you go. Boom. All right. Let's look up Sennacherib. So who's Sennacherib? This is actual history, man. Like, so let me just get this, just clear this up. The Bible has actual history in it. Good, real history. The Bible is very valuable. Some parts of it are valuable. The parts that can be corroborated with history, man, they come in so handy. Second Kings, I believe it's Second Kings chapter 19. I don't know why I can't think of the scripture. I think it's actually 17:9, right? The one that I'm thinking about. But we used to use this in the ICGJC, and they use this in the IUIC, ISUPK, and all of that. But little do they know that Sennacherib's prism gives you a whole other details that were never found before. And it says Sennacherib's annals are the annals of the Assyrian king Sennacherib. They are found inscribed on a number of artifacts. The final versions were found in 3 clay prisms inscribed with the same text. The Taylor prism is in the British Museum. This is it right here. And they were able to translate that. You know what I mean? Look that up, though. Sennacherib's prism. It talks about what happened in the Bible, man. Except it doesn't mention that angels came and fought with the kingdom of Judah at that time. It don't tell you that. They had already took over the northern kingdom. And now they came further and pushed towards Judea. And it tells you that the king of Judah hid in the castle, man. For months, he wasn't coming nowhere, man. And there were wars and battles. There were battles being fought left and right. And, you know, that's a whole nother story within itself. But let's go back to IUIC's bullshit here. Boom, boom, boom. And he don't go into what it means through that country. He doesn't tell you what that means. He assumes that it means to that country.
Through that country, there was a great way to go.
How long?
Namely of a year and a half.
A year and a half. The travel took a year and a half. They had to get provisions, okay? They had to make stops along the way. Read.
And the same region is called Arsaret.
Stop right there.
So he's adding a whole bunch of things into this cross country, cross ocean breakdown, man. This is an amazing story right here. But if you believe in the things that these guys believe in, you're going to be inclined to believe in this crazy story. This is nothing. Like, this is nothing to them. So what does it tell you? That the 10 tribes came to a new land, and through that country, it took a year and a half to get through that country. And if you ask an Israelite, well, sir, what country did they go through? They're not going to be able to answer that, because it tells you the country that they went through was Arsaret, which it just means that's not the name of the country. You know, these people are so simple. This is actually just what they called it. It was called an unknown land because it had no name. They're making it seem like as if it had a name. The Bible is telling you it had no name. It was unknown. Nobody lived there before. Why would it have a name if nobody lived there before? These guys are just not thinking. But because they need to make their breakdown true, they're going to come at you with these twists and rephrasing and reframing of words and scriptures, and they just completely ignore other scriptures. Why didn't this guy explain when it says through that country? They stay away from that, yo, purposely.
Yeah, give me that definition of Osiris. The definition of Osiris. Pull that up.
Shit.
Definition of Osiris. Read that.
Osiris by Morris Jastrow Jr. and Kaufman Kohler. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration. According to the second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 45.
Come on.
Columbus identified America.
Who did?
Columbus identified America with this land.
What land?
With this land.
Columbus knew that this side of this world was.
Yo, this right here, my friends, if you want to take down a Hebrew Israelite with some bullshit, this is it right here. This shit is clear evidence that they are not researching the fucking references that they're looking up, and they're giving you. They're giving you references that they're not even looking up. What's the reference here? Let him tell you, man, this idiot.
Was here, and that the Israelites were here because they had our book. They read our book. They read the Bible, and they read 2nd Ezra 13. The same verse we just read. They had this information. They knew there's people on that side. He knew there's people on that side. The Israelites that separated because of what happened in Second Kings, the split that happened, they was sent into captivity. He knew the history, the council that happened, that the 10 tribes decided to leave that side of the world and come to North America. Read that again. Read it again.
Verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
Go back to the definition of Osiris.
Osiris, the name of the land beyond the great river.
What was the great river? Euphrates. Come on.
Far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell.
Come on.
Observing the laws of Moses.
They were they were observed serving the laws of Moses. Remember, we read one of the books earlier. The only way they were able to identify them because of their ceremonies, their custom, and the language they spoke. Read.
Until the time of the restoration.
That's all bullshit, first of all. The language that the Native Americans spoke was not Hebrew. It wasn't anywhere near Hebrew. And I spoke to Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, who's an archaeologist, who's dealt with epigraphers, who you have to go to. You have to go to epigraphers, and they're going to tell you whether the Native Americans' language resembles Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. And guess what? They'll tell you that it doesn't, man. Unless you want to listen to some pseudo archaeologist or some shit, which I don't even know who to refer you to in that case. But the real archaeologist will tell you that there's no Hebrew ever found amongst Native Americans. There's none. If you want to say it could resemble it, the sounds, any sound can sound like something else. It's a sound. It's a noise. If we're talking about inscriptions and characters, script, whatever, block letters, like even then you can find connection, but they'll even tell you that there's no connection between what the Boricuas were writing, whatever the fuck the Tainos were writing, had nothing to do with Hebrew, man. They already went over that. Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos will tell you that there were Native Americans already here 15,000 years ago, while the Hebrew Israelites are trying to tell you that, nah, man, it was just in 722 BC. There are pyramids that date way before 722 BC in Peru. Pyramids, man. In Mexico, man. In Tulum. There are pyramids over there. We can look this up. So let's go right back to it because I don't want to lose track. I'm going to go to what he's referring to because he don't want to go there. And these guys are very slick for doing this. Now they don't want to go there. But I got the virtual book right here, man. I got the whole book right here. Now, if we go back to this stupid reference right here, check this out right here. It says, the name of the land beyond the great river. How is America beyond the river? Where? It's beyond the river? We compare to Israel, Israel is beyond a river. That's it. It's not beyond oceans and all this shit. These guys are fucking liars, man. Then it says, far away from the habitation of man. That could be in places near what they call the Caspian Sea or the Black Sea. They could be up there. And actually, that's what they'll tell you, that that's probably where it was at. But this is the Apocrypha, which is already questionable. The Apocrypha is already questionable. If you want to assume that the Apocrypha is true, I'll play your game and let's go there. Now, let's assume that the Apocrypha is true, and let's assume that the Jewish encyclopedia is true. Since when do Hebrew Israelites believe in what Jewish people are saying? But these guys want to believe in this. It says, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, right? That second line, observing the laws of Moses. Were they observing the laws of Moses? Were the Aztecs and the Mayans observing the laws of Moses when they were chopping off heads and the heads were rolling down the pyramids? That was observing the laws of Moses. Give me a break. And then it says, until the time of the restoration, according to the 4th book of Esdras, chapter 13, verse 45. Can you see that? Now it says, Columbus identified America with this land. That little assertion right there is false. He's taking that off face value. This IUIC fool. He's taking that on face value, and he's not giving you the correct reference. Now, I mean, that's the reference that they're using. Did they double check the reference? They haven't even double checked the reference, man, to check whether it's right or not. We're going to do that right now, man. We're going to do that right now, y'all. There's nothing to hide here. Caseling's Christopher Columbus book, right? Chapter translated by Dr. C. Gross, page 15, right? All right, this is where we're going to go. This is exactly where we're going to go. You see that right there? Now, let me zoom in a little bit for y'all. Well, we could do this. Yeah, okay. I don't think I'm going to get a better... Damn, yo. I don't know if y'all can see that good. But this is page 15. This is what they're talking... No, that's page 13, actually. Let me go. I love these virtual books. There you go. Page 15. Over here on the right, right? It says, let's start right here. It says, he was also very fond of reading the Bible of the 4th book of Ezra, which was probably written by a Jew. Actually, you know what? Let's zoom up. Let's go up a little bit here. Because they're going to say, oh, you hide and shit. That's the top of the book. Right? I hope y'all can see that. It says, he was also very fond of reading the Bible and the 4th book of Ezra. Okay. So it tells you Christopher Columbus was reading the Apocrypha. Big deal. Then it says, which was probably written by a Jew who lived outside of Palestine. So the Jew that lived outside of Palestine was the guy that wrote 2nd Esdras, according to what this book is saying. Now, if you want to believe everything that the book is saying, then, I mean, you're just going to pick and choose? Well, this sounds right, and that sounds right. This goes with what I'm saying. So I'm going to pick this, and I'm going to leave that out. I'll take this and leave that out. How convenient for you. Go right back to Christopher Columbus' book, or Meyer Caseling's book on Christopher Columbus. This is the reference that they're giving you. Nowhere in this book does it say that Christopher Columbus thought America was Arsareth. Actually, it tells you that he was headed somewhere else. Let's read about it. So it says right here, according, right, to his own assertion, is telling you straight up, the incentive that impelled him to plan his discoveries was not a love of science, but his interpretation of the prophecies of Isaiah. In Portugal, Columbus earnestly conceived the idea of making maritime discoveries by the way of the West. So he thought that he was going to get to Asia by way of the West. That's what Christopher Columbus thought. You motherfuckers are lying about what what Christopher Columbus thought about Arcereth. You guys are lying. It's going to tell you right here. It says, he wished to find a new ocean route to the regions of Cathay and Cipango. Hold on. Cathay and Cipango. What are these places? Wow, that must be Arcereth. That must be America. No, it's not, man. He was trying to get to Asia. That's why he called them Indians when he got here to the Americas. So this is Cathay or Cathay, a historical name for China. Do you see that? Do you see what that shit is saying right there? A historical name for China. He thought he was going to Asia, man. And that would make sense of why he called the Native Americans Indians. That would make sense completely. Shalom, Reno. He says, IUIC didn't even bother to explain why Second Ezra was referred to as the fourth book of Ezra. Yeah, my grandmother, I grew up Catholic, right? So my grandmother has a big Catholic Bible, and it has the Apocrypha in it. I already had the Apocrypha before I even bought the actual separate Apocrypha. I had a Catholic Bible that had the book of, it called the Wisdom of Solomon, and just called it Wisdom, or Sabidura or something like that. It's Spanish. It was Spanish. So, you bear with me. And then it called, so it instead of this 2 books of Kings, it was 4 books of Kings. It was the second book of the third book of Kings was the first Esdras. The fourth book of Kings was second Esdras. And then there were other books like that. There was Maccabeus and all of that. But there was like things missing. It wasn't complete like the Apocrypha. There were things missing from what I remember when my grandmother had her Catholic Bible. Now, remember, Catholics, they'll take all them books. They'll use all them books. That's why the ICGJC is very similar to Catholicism. Even with the garments that we would wear, the red and white garments, you already know. That's the cardinal shit. But they're so slick, they took the Catholics' wardrobe, but then they took the ranking structure from the Mormons. These motherfuckers. But welcome to Reno. Reno's a good, man, a constant visitor of the show. It's a San Miguel TV show. And he's very knowledgeable. He can corroborate things that I'm saying about the ICGJC and all of this. But everybody already knows this. This is what the IUIC and the ICGJC and ISUPK and Sakari, this is what they teach, man. They'll tell you straight up. I caught a dude one time with this bullshit. Where they was, because Cathay and Cipango is actually talking about China. It's talking about Asia. So when it tells you that in that book, the Meyer Kaseling book about Christopher Columbus, man, which is, you can't really even rely on that completely, man. You can't really rely on who is this guy? Did he live around the time of Columbus? Because I don't even think this guy lived during the time that Columbus lived. If you look up Meyer Kaseling, let's see what time period he lived compared to Christopher Columbus. Meyer Kaseling, boom. He lived from 1829 to 1905, man. So why are we taking his word as if this is absolute proof? It's because it confirms their pre-existing beliefs, man. That's it. It doesn't have any truth to it. It tells you that he was trying to get to Cathay and Cipango, which were reputed to be rich in gold and spices. Do you see that? Rich in gold and spices. Boom. And also to the realm of the priest King John, whose letter to Pope Eugene IV or to Emperor Frederick III, a Jew, is said to have first published in the middle of the 15th century. Henry the Navigator had already conceived a similar plan. And so listen, this is what Christopher Columbus was doing. Christopher Columbus was an explorer. He had balls. He had the heart to go out here and explore. Now, say what you want about Christopher Columbus. He lived in a time where it's very easy for you to play Monday morning quarterback and say, oh, Christopher Columbus was so evil. Listen, man, I'm not saying that what he did was correct or some of the everything he did in life, but what he did was nothing compared to what the people that came after him did. You know, there was a lot of deaths that came through transmission of diseases because our immune systems were completely different. The Native Americans' immune systems have been evolving for over 10, 15,000 years on their own, separate from the Europeans, man. And the first case of syphilis didn't come to Europe until after we made contact with the Native Americans. So the Native Americans gave the Europeans syphilis also. And Native Americans were getting diseases from Europeans. This is a fact. People get mad at this stuff. What up, Mega? But whenever you hear Hebrew Israelites say that Christopher Columbus identified America as Arsareth, they're using this reference right here. And this is false. It doesn't tell you this in the scripture. I don't know why the Jewish Encyclopedia is trying to give you this false impression. This is very strange how the Jewish Encyclopedia is trying to tell you something that's wrong. I mean, it could just be a mistake. I'm not saying they purposely are lying to you because they want the Hebrew Israelites to believe that they're Israelites. They want black people to believe that they're Hebrew Israelites, I mean. Because this is all feeding their egos and their ammunition. This is all feeding their breakdowns. They go to the Jewish Encyclopedia and say that Christopher Columbus identified America as Arsareth, and then the reference that they give you is right here. It's for free on YouTube. It's for free on Google Books. I mean, Built for Speed was good. So I don't know if you guys know this too. Mega, Reno, Built for Speed, Jim Green, Soldier 141. You know this shit already. Soldier 141. We've been through this, but the Hebrew Israelites usually reference. So let's go back. Let's catch this motherfucking idiot. Excuse my language, but let's catch this guy. This is IUIC giving a false breakdown of the 10 tribes.
Come on.
According to 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 45, Columbus identified America with this land.
So Osiris was considered America.
No, it wasn't. That is a lie. That is a lie right there. And I will challenge anybody that wants to try to prove that. I have the book that they're referencing right here, man. It's right here. Yo, this is so bad, man. I feel so sorry for people that just take these words and just run with it, man. It's telling you that it's C. Kaiserling's Christopher Columbus, translated by Dr. C. Gross. Okay, I'm seeing this right here. This is it right here, man. I have it. We have it. You have it, man. What does it say? It says nothing about Arsareth being America. You will never find, even if maybe they got the page wrong in page 15. I looked at the other pages just to make sure. And there's nowhere in this book written by somebody that didn't even know Christopher Columbus, first of all. But I'm not saying that his accounts are completely wrong, because the person that wrote the book is saying what it's saying. The Jewish Encyclopedia is taking that reference or that book and lying And then Hebrew Israelites are taking what the Jewish encyclopedia lied or got wrong as truth. This shit is like witchcraft, man. It's insane how like you have to pick this apart. It's like I'm performing surgery right now, man, to deal with these guys. And then you prove this wrong, and you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna jump to another thing. Well, what about the interpreter that Christopher Columbus brought? Because Christopher Columbus thought he was going to Cathay and Cipango, and he thought that in Asia there would be Israelites over there. He thought that he would come across them too. He didn't know about America. He called them Indians, man. He had no clue what was going on in America. And it had nothing to do with the 10 lost tribes of Israel. They've been out here for 15,000 years. Let's check this out right here. So this is the bullshit right here. Hold on.
Knew where to go. He knew exactly where to go. We read in Ezekiel earlier, the heathens know the reason why Israel went into captivity, right? So he didn't go there for spices like they teach in school. No,
he did. It tells you right there in the same book that they're referencing. It tells you that that's why they went over there, man. That's crazy. Yo, this is insane, man. Yo, he just referenced. Yo, check this out. Check how crazy this is. This motherfucker right here just referenced a book that supposedly tells you America was Arsareth, and it doesn't say that. And in that very book, it tells you that fucking Columbus went to Asia for spices, and he's telling you that's not true. But you're referencing a book that actually does tell you that. And it doesn't tell you that America was Arsareth. These fucking lying ass motherfuckers. Yo, Hebrew Israelites are lying ass, non-reference checking motherfuckers. I'm checking the reference right now in real time, man. What's wrong with these niggas? It tells you right here. It tells you he wished to find a new ocean route to the regions of Cathay and Cipango, which were reputed to be rich in gold and spices. Yo, like this is, I'm not a genius by revealing this. This is like me just following a reference, man. So these guys will tell you that Christopher Columbus considered America Arsareth, and they'll give you a reference, but they never check it. Is that what they're doing? Yo, we're checking it in real time, man. We're checking it right now. And we're proving that these guys' words is not matching what they even tell. I mean, they're telling you where to go, and then it doesn't tell you what they're saying that it says in the fucking reference that it's telling you where to go to. This is very, very awkward, very odd. Brother Haram was good, bro. Well, from here, yeah, we were gonna go. I mean, right there, clearly it tells you that Christopher Columbus was looking for spices and gold. Christopher Columbus is a white guy. White people don't season their food. They got to go to India to get some seasoning and shit. That's a joke. But yeah, Meyer Kaseling didn't even live during the time of Christopher Columbus, so he's taking somebody else's account and then he's rewriting this shit. And I'm not saying that his account is completely garbage, because his account is actually, it stands on what it says. The thing is that the Hebrew Israelites are using this guy as a reference and this account, and they're misquoting it, and they're just straight up adding things that are not even in there. Of course, he was looking for a new route to Asia, and they already knew that the Earth was a sphere. For you flat earthers out there, they already knew that. Christopher Columbus already knew that. So he said, if I go this way, I should hit Asia, not realizing that there's a whole landmass called North, Central, and South America out here, man. And Cass was out here. They was out here. Let's go to the comments real quick, Bill, for speed. The Black Hebrew Israelites have to force the United States into false narratives to deceive the people. That's why Deuteronomy 20:68, word Egypt has to be changed to America to fit. Or they might change the word Egypt to mean bondage. It could be either one, brother, whatever is more convenient for them. In the transatlantic slave trade. You know what was bigger than the transatlantic slave trade and what lasted way longer? The trans-Saharan slave trade. How many Africans were brought into the Middle East at that time? You know, history is very complex, man. And even when we're reading Meyer Kaseling's account right here, we have to be very careful in what we're reading, man, and not just take his word as evidence. These guys in the IUIC are just taking his word as evidence. And then they're telling you in 722 BC, brother. That's when it happened, brother. They're lying to us, man. Check this shit.
He went there for slaves. Okay.
For slaves.
Go back now. Read verse 46 now.
Verse 46.
Uh-huh.
Then dwelt they there until the latter time.
Mhm.
And now when they shall begin to come.
And begin to come, begin to wake up.
That verse is not, he doesn't complete that verse. That verse continues into verse 47. They stop at verse 46 all the time. They don't want to read the word stream because they know if they talk about a stream, they know it's only talking about a river. Even in the definition that Meyer Kaseling supposedly said, which is in the Jewish Encyclopedia, it says the land Arsareth is beyond the great river. What's the great river? It's the Euphrates River, man. Yo, I want to smack these guys in the face, man, with truth, with realism, man. Just can't you, like, what do I have to do for you guys to process what we're talking about? Like, just like a kindergartner, man. This is elementary. This is insanity, man. It gets even worse. It gets even worse with these cats. I'm gonna look up the Father Nazario stones now. Now, if you guys don't know, I had an interview with Father not Father Nazario, Father Nazario, he's dead. With Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, man. I had a conversation with him that I was able to record him talking to me, man, because I told him I don't know when I'm gonna get out to Puerto Rico, but I'm gonna try to get out there. And he said I could interview him in person if I get out to Puerto Rico. So I'm trying to make that shit happen, man. If anybody want to see that happen, man, give this video a thumbs up, man. Say something in the comment section, man. But this right here, y'all gotta watch this, man. This is 6 days old. It's my conversation with Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos. Okay, but look. This is a personal interview with Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, how you? Check this out. Check this bullshit out, man. It says, no somos grupo de odio, which means we are not a hate group. Man, they want you to know, yo, we're not a hate group, man. You've mentioned it so much, man, that it's like we can't help but think about you being a hate group every time you say that you're not a hate group. It's just, why do you have to say that you're not a hate group? Well, but the white man, you hate, man. And they're so Christian about it. Sometimes I don't want to even use that word, but they're so like nonchalant. Like it's just so very subtle. Their racism is so subtle, man. It's so evil, right? It's like this subtle ass racism, man. That's like, yeah, you don't season your food and all of that, and you don't know how to dance. You don't got no rhythm, and you smell like wet pennies or rusty pennies and wet dogs mixed together. But I don't hate you. I just agree with God. My God hates you, and I agree with my God that you guys are despicable. Despicable me. These guys just hate white people, man. And it's on display every day, man. They looking for the next racist story so they can say, you see, I told you they're racist. As if there's no racist black people out here all over the fucking place. There's racist East Indians, racist Hispanics, racist white people. I ain't saying there's not. There are racist white people all over the fucking place, man. I've encountered some out here in Florida. It's not rampant. This ain't the 1950s, yo. You're gonna be all right. You might even get a loan just for being black, and you can't do that for being white. All right, let's look at the interview in Puerto Rico, Brother Haram. This was actually done in Utuado. There's a city called Utuado, Puerto Rico, where the University of Puerto Rico, they got a campus out there. And this professor was actually interviewed by the IUIC, and this shit took like 24 minutes. This is the same length that I took speaking to this cat, but they edited the shit out of this. So they probably took more time. They edited the shit out of this. They don't want to hear this cat talk. But let's fast forward to the end because this is the good part right here.
Eso es antes de Cristo. Eso fue, ellos ya estaban a este lado del mundo. Por eso empezaron a leer.
¿Tienen alguna idea de cuándo se escribió eso de Ezra, ese texto?
Originalmente los apócrifos estaban en la Biblia, en la Biblia la famosa Biblia del oso que tenía 80 libros en vez de los 66.
He doesn't even answer the question, man. My man, Dr. Reniel, just asked him. He just asked these two brothers. There's two brothers from the IUIC, right? He asked them, do you know about when the book was written? He's setting them up. They don't know he's setting them up, but he's being so nice about it. And he's like, yo, do you know when this shit was set up? Like when it was written? And they didn't answer the question. All they said was, oh, it was in the original 80 books of the Bible. What are you talking about? The Apocrypha would have been written before the New Testament. He's asking you, when was the Apocrypha written? And who was it written by, man? An angel spoke to Ezra. And the angel knew that they went up to Assyria and then they went up to Arsareth. This whole story had happened. And the angel told Ezra. And just like how they just believe Meyer Kaseling, or they just believe the Jewish Encyclopedia's reference of Meyer Kaseling, because Meyer Kaseling didn't say nothing like this, that Arsareth is America. Just like they believe that right away, they're just going to believe the scriptures. They're just going to believe that an angel spoke to a man and he knows everything. So we got to take these words for 100% proof. It's not, man. Brother Haram says, currently watching from PR. One of my bros here went and met this guy about the stones as well. Yeah, man. That guy's a good dude, man. He's just very intelligent. Like, he's very careful. But at the same time, he was trying to tell me, you know, I don't want to get into no problems or whatever with these guys. These guys are very good to me. And I'm like, God damn, man. Are you telling me that you don't want to say that these guys are wrong because they're nice to you? And you're an archaeologist? I couldn't believe my ears, man. You know, as a lowly man over here, just listening to an archaeologist. And I'm like, yeah, you're the man. I got to listen to you. And he's saying, well, you know, I don't want to get into no problem. They always treated me nice and good. Who cares? Tazadakia always treated me nice and good. I never had no issues with Tazadakia, personally. People like fucking Tahar's dumbass will tell you, well, San Miguel, he was just treated so bad by Tazadakia. No, I wasn't. Actually, I was treated very good by Tazadakia. I think he had something against black people, and he loves Hispanics. He was treating us like we were the shit. I mean, you know, Nisha, that's a whole nother story, right, Brother Haram? My brother over here actually met Nisha and spoke to her. That's what he came out and said. Yeah, second Ezra is a pseudonym. You got it, disciple of Christ. It's like you just gotta take it at face value, man. It is what it is. But listen, there was a time when I could have got my rank taken away in 2008 when they had the Archangel Awards in Orlando. And I was already over public relations, and they put me head of transportation. And I had to take brothers all over the place, you know, whatever. Yeah, y'all know some of y'all know, y'all remember me from that point and that time. Well, when Tazadakia came upstairs to the room that we were supposed to vacate, that I didn't even know, I had left for 2 minutes, and everybody got their rank taken away. And here I am, and I still have my rank, and I was the head over this shit. Tazadakia didn't treat me that bad, yo. Yeah, dark skinned congregants caught hell on the top. But he was beating up some Hispanic women too, right? So, but then there was sisters that he was treating, like Lauren in Orlando. Nobody knows about Lauren. Lauren's the damn she's a dime piece, man. She's fine as hell. Lauren is mother's black, father's Italian, and Tazadake treated her like a princess, man. But then there's another Puerto Rican sister, Yahalama, from Jacksonville, who he was throwing quarters at her head and shit. He was mistreating her. You know what I mean? Disciple of Christ. That's not surprising to hear. All these Israelite groups dog out black people, but on the other hand, kiss the ass of Hispanic and Native Americans. It's weird. It could go either way, because then you could have people in another group that they'll treat 10 tribes or the Hispanics like, oh yeah, y'all are a mixed breed. Y'all like a cake not turned. That's like kind of degrading in a way. I'm a cake not turned. What does that mean? I'm fucking damaged and ruined on one side, but the other side is good, but the other side is bad. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Yeah, let's keep it clean. But yeah, let's go right to the fucking the dagger.
Que en los primeros 2 libros de Esdras, cuando habla sobre, ¿sabes? Cuando salieron y nos dieron la libertad del cautiverio de Asiria, pues ahí es donde se encuentra eso. ¿Sabes? También ahí plantea...
So he doesn't even know when the book of Ezra was written, second book of Ezra. But he's saying it was written, it wasn't even written by Ezra, because the book of Ezra was already written. And this was something else, man, that came after 720 BC. Wasn't Ezra before that? Wasn't Ezra before? I don't know. We could look into all of that. I highly doubt it. But the book of Second Esdras or the rest of Esther and shit like that. Who wrote these things, man? You can read one of my favorite books, the book of Ecclesiasticus. In the beginning, there's a preface that says that Jesus, the son of Sirach, wrote this shit. And it was added on by some things that Sirach had already said. His son added shit. So some of the book wasn't even written by him. So he's clearly telling you that in the Bible, there are books that are written by multiple people, yet it's named Sirach, the wisdom of Sirach. But it's fucking shit from everybody. It's his son putting things in. Yeah, my father done said this, and 2 heads are better than 1. And I'd rather dwell with a dragon than to dwell with an unruly woman or whatever it says. I love the book of Ecclesiasticus. It has great, just wise sayings. But how true is this shit? I mean, insecurity is real. They talk about the 12 tribes of mistreat all the tribes. Yeah, they mistreat everybody, man. Let's not separate. Oh, Hispanics. I mean, some situations, yeah. But I think because this cat Tazadakia, when he's dealing with his wives, regardless of race or whatever, he's going to be like a dragon. He's a lion in the household, like the book of Ecclesiasticus says, be not thou a lion in your own household. That's one thing that I always try to be aware of, I don't want to be overbearing, all right, I'm the man of the household. I don't have to be all fucking, I'm the man, and that's people that try to overcompensate because there's a lack of manliness or something. They need to overcompensate. But Dr. Reniel Rodriguez told him straight up, and he's asking good questions and trying to set them up. He's not trying to set them up. He's just asking questions, man. Honest question. When was the book of Second Ezra written that says that the 10 tribes came to Arsareth and Arsareth is America? When was it written? And they're telling him, around the time of Solomon, 720 BC, 730 BC. All right, let's see what he says.
sea, como dice, eso es de Malaquías al Nuevo Testamento, esos, por decirlo así, hoyos.
Estarán
Tú
en
lees
esos
el-
14 libros.
Sí, sí,
Exacto.
si tú lees el Nuevo Testamento y terminas Malaquía y empieza y dice,
Digo,
algo falta aquí. Siempre uno lee.
So he knows. He's saying, "Oh, those are 14 books." Yeah, he knows all about the Apocrypha because he's an archaeologist, and this comes up all the time. This is what Father Nazario was talking about. Was the book of Second Esdras, chapter 13, or the book of Fourth Kings, chapter 13, verse 40 through 47. The book of Ecclesiasticus was written in Egypt, Alexandria, Egypt. I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't doubt it at all, my brother. Man, I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into that for sure. Thank you. Let's keep listening to this cat. This is a good. I love Dr. Renio Rodriguez Ramos, man, but I think he's being too soft on these cats.
Algo no está conectando.
Y
Eso está comprobado.
los judíos de ahora no usan ninguno de esos 14 libros.
No, ellos usan, que le llaman el Tamuz, que usan ellos, que son los primeros 5 libros de la Biblia. Exactamente.
So he asked, are there any Jews that read these books, the book of the Apocrypha? And he said, no, they only read the Talmud, which is not true, man. That's not true. There's Jews that believe in the story of the Maccabees, man. There's actually a movie that you can watch. I forget the name of this movie. And it starts off with the book of Maccabees and shit. I was watching this shit like a kid's movie. It was a weird, I forget the name of it, man. Fuck. But it talks about the book of Maccabees. Like it starts off about the Maccabees brothers. And then there's also the Torah. What you mean the Talmud? Jewish people don't read the Torah? There's no Jews that read the book of Obadiah or Micah or Jonah? Yes, they are, man. This cat is he's not giving good answers, man. Fourth Kings is the book of Second Esdras, pretty much. Fourth Kings is the book of Second Esdras. I believe it says it here. See, in my grandmother's Catholic Bible, there was the fourth book of Kings, and it looked like it was Ezra. It looked like it was first and second Ezra's was third and fourth Kings. In this Meyer Kaseling book, where it talks about Christopher Columbus, it says the fourth book of Ezra's. I don't know why it says that because I think it's trying to say the fourth book of Kings, and I've read that somewhere else. But let me see. Yeah, let's get right back to this because we're still going into the 10 tribes breakdown. We're gonna go into different Hebrew Israelite breakdowns, I guess, eventually, but this is where we're at right now, man. And I want y'all to listen to this. Check this out.
Los primeros 5 libros de la Biblia. Ellos son, y la diferencia es que bastante las creencias de ellos es muy diferente a lo que la Biblia explica, que uno que está, todo es al revés, fringes. Mira esto, porque
Para que también, para que vean todo, ¿sabes? Todas las personas que también siguieron.
So he's trying to tell him that the Jewish people don't even keep the laws. Look, we wear fringes. They don't wear fringes. And now they're trying to get him to go read a scripture. This guy, you can tell he's trying to entertain them, but listen, to a scientist, to an archaeologist, a biblical or religious scripture, a book that's like going into shit like this is very unimpressive to somebody like this. The book of Second Ezra is written between 70 and 100 CE. Do you guys see the anachronism? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Check this out.
¿Sabes? Escritores y libros que siguieron la.
No, si yo he mirado, o sea, hay muchos investigadores, como decía aquí, o sea, Fray Bartolomé de las Casas, eso fue cuando él estaba en la defensa de los indígenas, pues él planteaba que ellos eran descendientes de las tribus perdidas de Israel.
Incluso uno de Inglaterra, Lord Viscount Kingsborough, también, cuando lee sobre la historia de Kingsborough, él terminó siendo un prisionero por deuda, porque de nuevo, ¿sabes? Pedía tanto dinero prestado para seguir explorando y seguir buscando información que terminaron metiendo presos por todo el dinero que debía.
De eso.
El libro de Números, capítulo 15, verso 38.
Now they're reading Numbers chapter 15, el libro de Números, the book of Numbers, capítulo 15, chapter 15, verse 38, verso 38. Ezra, Nehemiah, Second Ezra. Yeah, all those books were written around the same time. Most of the Old Testament was written around the time of Ezra, is what the scholars will say, man. Because in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, it tells you, and Moses died. What? Did Moses write that? Moses wrote, and Moses died. Actually, all throughout the Torah, it's telling you God spoke to Moses. Moses is writing, God spoke to Moses. Moses couldn't say, God spoke to me, man. And let me tell you straight up what God told me. I'm going to tell you I'm Moses. Nah, he's not saying that. He's saying, well, God spoke to Moses. And then that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. My brothers Reno and Ben Mac. You know Ben Mac, that's Aria's nephew, just so you know. Welcome back, sir. But yeah, this is when it gets interesting right here with IUIC and Dr. Renio Rodriguez Ramos.
8 a 41. Habla a los hijos de Israel y diles que se hagan franjas en los bordes de sus vestidos.
Él está diciendo que ponieran franjas. Oye, así te ve bastante lleno, andaban franjas.
So, okay, well, actually, let's touch on this. Let's touch on this for sure. So he's going to Numbers 15 and 38. Oh, well, the Native Americans wore fringes. Okay. Well, did they? Well, let's look up Siberian shamans. Let's just Google a Siberian shaman and let's see what he's wearing. Let's see what they're wearing over here. Siberian shaman, Siberian shamanism. Uh-oh. What you got going on over here? Well, I'll be gosh darn it. It looks like they're wearing fringes. I don't know about you, but it looks to me like these guys are wearing fringes. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. The shamanism in Siberia, man. Why are Siberians wearing fringes? You know what they're going to say? Well, Siberians are from the lost tribe of Dan. They're going to say some shit like that. They're going to muddy the waters when one thing don't got nothing to do with the other, man. It doesn't. It's fringes. It's like if I choose to drink fucking rum, or if I choose to make alcohol from potatoes, does that mean that I'm Irish? Well, Irish people make alcohol from potatoes, and then you're making alcohol from potatoes. Could you be Irish? It's so ignorant. It's so stupid. It's such a simple way of like thinking, of coming to a conclusion. Let's go back to it. Dr. Reniel, let's go. Dr. Reniel was very cool with me, you know, like I appreciate the time that he gave to me. Like I was like fucking kind of starstruck, you know. Motherfuckers would be, I ain't gonna lie, I'll be starstruck if I see Nas and shit. I'll be starstruck. I'll be like, that's Nas over there. That's Nas. But this talking to this cat, I was kind of like, yo, I can't believe I was talking to this cat. This cat is actually kind of a rock star. You know, he's kind of fucking dope. And he don't even realize it. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, yo, I love what you're doing, bro. You are revolution. You know, this is revolutionary what you finding. And it has nothing to do with Hebrew Israelites. But fucking Hebrew Israelites will say, yeah, he's revolutionized because the Hebrews. No, man, it's because what he found has been ignored. And he was able to fucking find this shit and show people that this shit is actually historically valuable. But it has no Hebrew. He's going to tell them that, but he's going to tell them something even bigger that I think was even bigger.
Las franjas son estas cosas que andaban en su ropario, todo que andaban. Cuando ellos dejaron antes que viniera Cristo. So ellos todavía estaban haciendo un sacrificio de animales. Por eso es.
So he's saying that when the Native Americans came here, they came here before Jesus Christ was born. So they were still doing animal sacrifices. I'm translating in Spanish, like for real. This is like, I speak Spanish. This is very accurate. This guy's Spanish is, I can speak Spanish better than the guy who's talking to Dr. Reniel.
Esa era la diferencia cuando llegaron acá, pero mucha gente no puede comprender eso. Que claro, si ellos vinieron antes de Cristo, ellos todavía estaban persiguiendo lo que ellos habían aprendido antes de venir a este lado. Por eso que Pablo,
sí, yo creo que hay la duda cronológica, sí, en términos de tiempo, o sea.
So he's saying that's right there what you just said. That's a point that I want to talk about, which is chronological. So he's talking about chronology. What is chronology, man? Let's look this shit up. Let's just fucking look this shit up. Because I'm gonna give you whatever chronology. Chronology is the arrangement Okay, hold on. The arrangement of events or dates. Oh, wait, hold on. Can you see that? My bad. Boom. The arrangement of events or dates in order of their occurrence. These motherfuckers got chronology wrong. Phil Fox killed that argument on Vocab's channel. Yeah, I saw that, Reno. I was actually just on BK Apologist channel. I actually, I like watching these Christians do what they do, man. BK Apologist, yo, just so you know, just on some random side shit. BK Apologist knows one of my boys from way back. He doesn't even know that actually. My boy knows BK Apologist. Because I got one of my boys, Niger, who used to train at 1944 Madison Avenue. He's a Golden Gloves boxer. He represents Brooklyn all day, even though he's from fucking Queens. I'll be trying to get on him. Like, why you from Queens, nigga? But he likes to represent Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn too. And he knows BK Apologist. He's like, I remember one time he's like, I know that nigga. He was like, why do I know that cat from? Like, I was like, I do. I was like, he does. We've been knowing that cat. BK Apologist, I think he knows people that I know and shit. From way back. I'm talking about before I even met Vocab Malone and all of that. So that's crazy. BK Apologist, shout out to you, man. I watch your shit. But yeah, man, this is basic chronology. Dr. Reniel is saying that this is the chronological problem, man. Where you're talking about, okay, if the Native Americans were already here before 720 BC, how can they be Israelites? If you're telling me the Israelites came here in 720 BC, they've been here thousands of years. We went over the Anzac One child. We went over the Siberian shamans. Now let's go over the Sunrise child that was found. Paleo shit. Yeah, this is from the New Statesman website. Let me see if I can share it. Boom. All right, you got it. So aside from Anzac One, now that destroys genetically anything that Hebrew Israelites are saying. It's saying The sunrise child, this is a different one, man. This was found in Alaska. How the sunrise child / girl has shed light on the first settlers of America. Genetic sequencing of an 11,500-year-old body helps to tell the story of the ancient Native Americans. Do you hear what this is saying, man? Am I making this up? You think I created this for you? Because I hate Hebrew Israelites so much. I just want to prove them wrong. That's what niggas like Tahar think. You just mad. I think you just don't like Hebrew Israelites. It's like, I don't like that y'all lying. And y'all lie constantly. All right, let's go back to Dr. Reniel.
Son descendientes de las tribus perdidas de Israel. Ese evento de las tribus perdidas, según yo recuerdo, es como 733 años antes de Cristo.
Okay, so he just said his time is a little bit off. He's fine. He said, if these are descendants of the lost tribes of Israel, if my memory serves me right, the lost tribes of Israel left that land about 733 years before Jesus Christ, before antes de Cristo, he says. 733 años. 733 years before Christ. Okay. And I'm going to rewind that because it's such a takedown. And he did it so kindly. I love it.
Israel. Ese evento de las tribus perdidas, según yo recuerdo, es como 733 años antes de Cristo. Pero aquí había gente hace 15,000 años atrás. 14.
He just said, pero aquí había gente 15,000 años para atrás. He said that, but there were people already here 15,000 years before that. That's what he said, man. You fucking non-Spanish speaking motherfuckers out here. You got a bunch of African Americans that are just gonna fucking ignore this shit. And your own fucking leaders, your captains in the IUIC, they're not telling you what he just said. They cut him off right away. Watch.
De las tribus perdidas de Israel. Ese evento de las tribus perdidas, según yo recuerdo, es como 733 años antes de Cristo. Pero aquí había gente hace 15,000 años atrás, 14,000 años atrás. Entonces, ahí es tal vez el planteamiento que puede...
Eso da con el libro que el Vico va a presentar hoy del caste que estamos leyendo. Porque durante el tiempo del rey Salomón.
Yo, he's lying, man. You heard what he just said, Haram? Yo, Haram. Yo, you speak Spanish, bro. Yo, he just said that goes with King Solomon. What are you talking about? King Solomon was 750 years before Christ. How does the 15,000 years that he just mentioned, how does that go with King Solomon at all? 15,000 years ago, King Solomon? Yo, these niggas be lying, bro. You heard what he just said? He just lied to the archaeologist's face, man. These guys are bullshitting, man. Wow. He said, well, that right there. So the archaeologist shut him down. The archaeologist just cut his whole worldview in fucking pieces, man. If the Israelites came here in 733 BC, which is the time that the 10 lost tribes left, then guess what? There were already people here 15,000 years ago, he said. That's what he said, man. You think that I'm lying to you? Let's hear him say it again. I can hear this shit all day. Let's go to 22 minutes and 38 seconds.
Tribus perdidas, según yo recuerdo, es como 733 años antes de Cristo. Pero aquí había gente hace 15,000 años atrás. 15,000 años atrás. Entonces, ahí es tal vez el planteamiento.
He just dropped a bomb on him. He just dropped the fucking bomb on this nigga. I think his name is Victor. No, his name is Gideon, I think his name. From IUIC, Puerto Rico. B-Man says, this is just giving me headaches now. Nah, man, we're going to keep going over this shit over and over because these niggas keep lying. They never stop their lies. An archaeologist has told them there were people here in the Americas 15,000 years before Christ. You're saying that the 10 lost tribes of Israel came here in 733 BC. Guess what, man? There were already people here 15,000 years ago, he just told them. And these niggas said, well, you know, that goes right in line with King Solomon. What you talking about? That goes in line. King Solomon was right before Rehoboam and Jeroboam and the fall of the 10 tribes. That's why there was a prophecy where the kingdom was rent in pieces, right? Remember that with Solomon? That was a whole prophecy. That was like a whole thing. In Kings, the book of Kings, man. First and Second Kings, you read all about these stories, man. And the book of Chronicles tells you even, you know, some more details. So what are we talking about here, man? 15,000 years ago has to do with Solomon? That nigga just said that. Check this shit out. This shit's crazy.
Que
Correctamente. Eso da con el libro que Vico va a presentar hoy del caste que estamos leyendo. Porque durante el tiempo del rey Salomón.
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
As soon as Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos told them that actually there have been people here in the Americas 15,000 years ago, they cut the shit off immediately. He had a bad response, and they kept this thing, man. They kept it in production and put it out. Listen, when I'm editing videos, sometimes I say things that are wrong. Everybody says something that's wrong, maybe in the heat of the moment. And you know what I will do if I catch it? I will remove it from my editing, man. And you know, if I don't catch it in the editing and it goes through San Miguel TV, I'll try to fucking tell you later on or put it in the description. Yo, I messed up. I said something wrong. These guys don't do that, man. They don't tell you, yo, my bad, we messed up. We just learned from the archaeologists that 15,000 years ago, there were people already here, man. Guess what? So I guess I'm not an Ephraimite. Nah, man. They're not going to do that, man. They're going to continue with the bullshit, man. That's so deceived. That's so deceptive. Yo, all these niggas out here, I want to contact these cats because IUIC be on my shit. And I go on biblical smoke. I dealt with Asaph, what they call A, whatever the fuck, A1, Asaph. And then you got thieves like Kanai, his conniving ass. That's Kanai, called Kanai, his thieving fucking ass. He's like a top fucking officer and shit, or whatever the fuck, in IUIC. I know these guys very well, man. I have family in IUIC, in Yonkers. My cousins up in Yonkers, man. Well, one of them. He's in IUIC. I think he's upstate now in Rochester, some shit. If this cat's listening right now, man, I want you to hit me up, Jesus Lopez. Hit me the fuck up, primo. I mean, isn't it clear as day that Dr. Reniel is saying that there were people here 15,000 years ago? And then the response by Gideon of IUIC Puerto Rico, I think his name is Gideon, his response is that, well, that falls right in line with King Solomon. 15,000 years ago falls right in line with King Solomon? What fucking crack cocaine drugs are you on, man? This shit don't make no sense. Stop lying to the people. Be honest. If you made a mistake, that's fine. You can fix it, clean it up. My problem with niggas like this is that they make a mistake and then they double down on it as if like, no, you know what? I was right all along because, and it's like, yo, we just heard it from the horse's mouth right here, man. And I'm gonna keep fucking playing this shit. 22 minutes and 33 seconds.
Si son descendientes de las tribus perdidas de Israel, ese evento de las tribus perdidas, según yo recuerdo, es como 733 años antes de Cristo. Pero aquí había gente hace 15,000 años atrás, 14,000 años atrás. Entonces, ahí es la...
He said, listen, if they're descendants of the lost tribes of Israel, that would have been in 733 BC. But there were people here already 15,000 years ago, Negro. Why you... And what's their response? What's their response?
O sea, tal vez el planteamiento que
puede... Eso da con el libro que el Vico va a presentar hoy del caste que estamos leyendo. Porque durante el tiempo del rey Salomón.
What? What the fuck did he just say? He just said that falls right in line with during the time of King Solomon. 15,000 years ago does not fall right in line with King Solomon. These motherfuckers believe the earth is only 12,000 years old, I think, or 10,000 years old. And fucking paleontology will tell you that the Paleo Indians, the Paleo Americans, were here 15,000 years ago, man. They were up in Yukon in Alaska 20,000 years ago. They already found that shit. They were even in Chile. They were there. In Verde, some shit. I forget the name of the city. Something Verde, green. This is going back. I mean, you could even say, you could make a case that there were people here in the Americas over 20,000 years ago. There's actually evidence coming out on that there were like many different migrations, like at least 2 or 3 migrations, big migrations that came during certain times. But it's like, even then, how can you even really tell that? You have to go by the trail that was left behind, maybe dead bodies that were found, and they can trace it back once you go to a certain strata in the earth. You know, you can trace it. It's like, okay, at this time, we can go in the earth and see, when you get down this far, there was a certain trail. There's certain things that they could do, man. I mean, they're doing research every day. And the Channel Islands of California, they're doing research in San Miguel Island. La Isla de San Miguel. B-Man says, people in the Americas before so-called Abraham. Yeah, for sure. And IUIC is a joke. It's sad. They just tell people, they just yell at people and force their teaching on all the streams they have all day long. Yeah, and then they block you or they kick you out. I can never get a clear answer from ICGJC when I ask about the identity of Native Alaskans. That's where you get them at, too. Ask them about the Inuits. What about the Inuits? What about the Alouette language? How that's similar to what the Siberians were speaking, and how that's similar to what the Alaskans were speaking. They have linguistic connections. They have their teeth, their eyes. This is different sciences, right? When it comes to your teeth, this is called dentistry. And they have something called the shovel-shaped incisors. Shovel-shaped incisors. Their teeth. Asians and Mexicans, or indigenous people, have similar dentistry. And then they have similar ophthalmology, what they call your eyes. If you need to go get your eyes checked, who do you go see? An ophthalmologist. And what are they going to do? They're going to look at your eyes. But there's different things within the eyes, that like what's called the monolid eyelids. Like me, you can clearly see I have a flap in my eyelids. You can clearly see it. But sometimes when I start laughing, I look a little Asian and shit. And then you can see almost like a monolid, where it's just one lid instead of the flap. It just goes down. That's called a monolid eyelid. Asians have it. Native Americans have it. But then there's the San people in Africa. like Nelson Mandela. There's people like that. They look like they have that too, because it's a genetic thing. It's an evolutionary thing. I mean, it's not just a genetic thing. It's also an evolutionary thing where people that are not so genetically connected to each other are also evolving at the same rate, and they're going through these same similar changes. History is complex, man. These guys make it seem like it's so easy and everything could just be put in a box. Well, what are the Alaskans? Are Alaskan Israelites? Well, yeah, some of them are. But isn't that what you say about Dominicans? But some of the Dominicans are Simeonites, because not all of them are. Some of the Cubans are Manessa, but there's some white ass Cubans, and they're white. Okay, so not all Manessa is Manessa. So what the fuck is the 12 tribe trying to tell me then? You got all these stipulations and shit, and these asterisks that you have to add to it. The tribe of Gad are the North American Indians. Well, aren't the Seminole Indians North American? Well, put an asterisk, motherfucker. That's like what they did with baseball with the steroids. They need an asterisk. LMAO. These guys think Africans and natives are the same, but not Asians and natives, and not Africans and Africans. They don't think Haitians and people from the Sudan or the Congo are the same people either. So you can laugh at this shit all day long. And why do they say that the Eskimos are not Israelites? They're Indians too. Yes, they are. Of course they are. The spirit bears witness. That's the answer. That's why they have white people in their congregation. There's a red gingerbread man, the ginger red man. There's a few of these motherfuckers in the Hebrew Israelite community. There's one dude in Ohio, man. He's white. He's white. His father's not Cuban. None of that. He's white all the way. And they let him in. They say, oh, well, he hates white people, so he must be a Jake. He hates his own people, man. They're not going to be white people that hate their own people. Well, you must be a Jake if you hate your own people. There's not going to be white people that hate their own people. That shit's not going on today. Beverly D'Angelo, or whatever the fuck her name is. Or what's her name? The one that's talking about all this racial fucking white fragility. She's talking about how much she hates white people too. She's white. There's white people that hate their history. They hate their ancestry. They hate their own father. When their parents sometimes will be conservative, and then the kids growing up in this TikTok era, they be liberal as fuck, and they hate their parents. Shit happens all the time. Yo, these cats be straight lying though, man. IUIC is full of shit. I can't believe it.
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation.
I mean, I just want to do a debate with any one of these cats, man. I'll take on Asaph, take on A1, or Abayel, whatever the hell his name is, from OKC. He used to be out here in Orlando, man. We went head to head when I was in the ICGJC, and I was getting at him about the virgin birth, man. Like, why was Joseph so reluctant to put her away? Like, obviously he knew that she was pregnant and that he didn't sleep with her. That's obviously what's going on. Why does Luke chapter 1, I think, verse 35 say, or verse 68, I think? It said, this shall be a sign for the falling of many in Israel. What sign? What's the sign? A virgin shall be with child. Why is that so special that a woman is just going to get pregnant? Oh, a woman's going to get pregnant. Okay. Women get pregnant. It says that a virgin is going to be with child. That's special, and that's a sign. Why are these IUIC motherfuckers still telling you that, well, Jesus Christ, see, Mary and Joseph, they didn't have sex? That's not what the scripture says, man. Now, maybe they weren't expecting that. The Essenes, or these different groups of Jews or Israelites, maybe they weren't expecting whatever the fuck happened, and they had a different understanding. But regardless, if you go by the scripture, that's what the scripture says. I got hiccups. IUIC debate ICGJC. That's like Spider-Man versus Batman. These two white men, ISUPK. Yeah, they got white people too, man. GMS got white people. It's so crazy. There was an Indian chick. Her last name was Patel, man. Her last name was Patel. She was up in the ICGJC. She was married to the fucking sex trafficker nigga. That fucking motherfucker. Tony Flakes or whatever the fuck his name is. Myron Flakes. Myron Anthony Flakes. He's up in jail right now. That's a former bishop of the ICGJC. Fucking sex trafficking. Bitch ass nigga. Disciple of Christ says, as if we don't know a white man when we see one. I'm right here. The Bible says that Joseph did not know Mary until after she gave birth to Christ. Does it say that? Let me see. What scripture is that? Is that Matthew? Let's just go into that. I mean, we don't have to because this is not. This is a breakdown. That she didn't know Mary until after she gave birth. What scripture is that? Matthew 125. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now. Okay. That's Matthew 125. You see all of that? Oh, no, you can't see it. There you go. Okay, so I like the English Standard Version, but I'll read the others. But English Standard Version said, but knew her not until she had given birth to a son. And he called his name Jesus. But he did not consummate their marriage until she gave birth to a son. How do you consummate marriage? But he did not have sexual relations with her until her son was born. Wow, it tells you right there. Got you. Well, I'll say this, disciple of Christ. Then what are the two lineages that's in Matthew and in Luke? It's not the same lineage. What are the two lineages that it's talking about? Because there's a lineage. What I was taught is there's a lineage for Mary and there's a lineage for Joseph. I was taught this in the Catholic Church and I was taught this in the ICGJC. So be very careful of what we take as truth. But the virgin birth is pretty clearly described in the New Testament, I think. And it says the idiom to know is the concept of sexual intercourse. Okay, so built for speed. I don't know. I'm confused, man. Because the Bible will tell you different things like that. And I'm like, people try to figure out, well, I think the Bible's trying to tell you this, but it depends what scripture you want to go with. A virgin shall be with child. How is that a special sign? A woman's gonna get pregnant? Ooh, that's so rare. That's how I look at it. That's my argument. It's whatever. I see what you're saying though with Matthew 125. I see what you're saying. He did not know her until. So yeah, to know is in the context of sexual intercourse. Yeah, that's why we read that, right? That's literally, if you look at the New Living Translation, it says sexual relations. Wow, it says it clearly. So the Bible, man, I mean, you can make that thing say a lot of different things. And I tell people, man, we can't go back in time and talk to these prophets and ask them what did they mean. You know, we can't dig up the grave of Isaiah and be like, yo, Isaiah, come back to life. Wake up. Yo, Isaiah, you up? What did you mean in chapter 18 when you talked about the Chaldeans? I don't know. Are the Chaldeans the white man? Isaiah, tell me, speak to me. And Isaiah's just a bag of bones. Nah, but you know what I mean? It's like we can't do that, man. So the best thing that we can do is rely on our bias. Our intelligence has all types of conflicts with biases and all types of other shit that is going to get in the way of us processing information. There's biases that's gonna come in and is gonna take over what we think that we believe in, or what we think that it says. Or I think that it says this because this scripture over here says this. Like now you bring in another scripture. Go for Speed 101 says, San Miguel, what's another major point that the Black Hebrew Israelites don't know is that the betrothal period was for 1 year of separation. This is why the angel came to Joseph to inform. Let's continue. The GNT does say that, doesn't it? GNT is a pretty good translation, ain't it? Okay, so Bill for Speech said to inform Jesus Christ was special. To inform him that Mary didn't betray him. Right. Yeah, this is what he was talking about. You continue on the ... to inform angel. This is why the angel came to Joseph to inform him that Mary didn't betray him. Jesus Christ was special, says LKO. The Free Thinkers Podcast, the Book of Isaiah, is a Deuteronomical book, has 4 different authors. I believe that might be true. I know that the Torah has 4 different sections it's split up to. The first 5 books, you have the priestly order, you have the Levitical order. I forget the other ones, you know. But yeah, I believe me and you on the same wavelength, free thinkers. So I'm a free thinker myself. Do you believe you are the remnant? I do more than ever. The remnant of Israel? No, I think that your understanding of what a remnant of whatever is according to the Bible, I think is flawed because how do you know that you're a remnant according to your father's seed or what? You know, there's scriptures in the Bible that will I mean there's nothing in the Bible that tells you that you're of a certain tribe because of whatever reason. Like, why are you of this tribe? Like, and you can go to the book in Nehemiah where it says like you got to look for the father's house, and I understand why you will pull that. But yeah, the curses. Let me tell you something. Isaiah 8:20. If you want to prove something genetically, if you're making a genetic claim, like you're saying that you think these people are Israelites or you think you're an Israelite, the best way to prove it is genetically. So that means that you have to find the DNA of these people and you have to compare it to yourself, and then you can come to a conclusion. So if you can't do that, whatever you're trying to tell me is all faith-based. And Deuteronomy 28, if you want to go to Deuteronomy 28:68, you know how they lie to y'all. Deuteronomy 28:68 says, "For the Lord will send you back again to where? To Egypt." Egypt is a land. Can we agree that Egypt is a land? Yeah, if you can agree that Egypt is a landmass, that's all I want you to agree. Is Egypt a landmass? Or does it mean something, is it a euphemism? It's not. This is how they tricked you, man. You've been lied to. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28 is an instruction for entering the land of Canaan. That's it. It's stipulations. If you don't do this, this might happen. It's not prophecies. There's not a prophecy of slave ships. It's not. But you're going to read into it and put history to match with it because you already have an assumption that you're an Israelite, or black people are Israelites. But it says that by the way whereof. This is one thing, Isaiah chapter 8 and 20. And I'll invite you to come on right now. What does by the way whereof I spake unto you mean? You can come on and or whatever, you can answer in the message. What does by the way whereof I spake unto you? What does that mean? Does that mean that the place where I spoke to you? Is that what that means? Does that sound crazy that that's what that means? The place where I spoke to you, by the way. What's the way? You're, around the way girl. What's an around the way girl? Is a girl that's from a certain place. What does by the way whereof I spake unto you mean? It means by that place, or at that place where I spake unto you, and I said, thou shalt see it no more again. There you shall be sold, and there, this and that and that and this. As Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. The Lord will bring you back to Egypt in ships, man. It's very clear. The Lord will bring you back to Egypt in ships. Back in ships to Egypt. By a route. Okay, so there you go. This is more accurate, actually. A route is a certain way that you're going that I promise you would never see again. And there. Where is there? Where is there? There is Egypt. Because it's referring right back to what it just said. By that route that you went to, and I told you that you will never return, there. So he's saying, I told you that you weren't going to return, but on the contrary, you shall return, and you're going to return in ships. But this time, it wasn't the same generation. It was a different generation. So it could still fit. If people say, well, he said that they would never return. Well, maybe that was talking about that generation that was alive at that time. And maybe a new generation was going to return. What? I got this shit padlocked down, man. Yeah, people went into captivity. Asians went into captivity. White people went into captivity. Vikings went into captivities. Arabs went into captivities. Everybody went into captivity in this world. And it's so sad. I know. It's so boo-hoo-hoo. Cry me a fucking river. Build me a bridge and get over it. Because that's over and done with. You're no longer a slave. You can go and travel wherever the fuck you want. Get yourself a passport, unlike Tazadakia, and go ahead and travel around the world. You're free. Give me free. The word redeem means to buy. So no man shall buy you. It says buy. Stop changing the word buy to redeemed when the word buy means to purchase or to get. That's quana in Hebrew, and you can find the same translation in the book of Genesis chapter 19, verse 7, where it says, God, the Lord God, is the possessor of heaven and earth. The word for possess is quana, which means to buy, which means to get, which means to acquire. Why don't you come on the live stream and stop bullshit? Brooklyn Outlaw. Outlaws.
What's going on, man?
How you feeling, sir?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Good to hear from you, man.
Yeah. I be trying, bro. You over here always destroying these dudes' breakdowns. Like, when we gonna get enough of this shit, bro?
Never get enough. I want to keep doing it.
Nah, what I'm saying is, you always do it. So you know what I mean. These niggas ain't got a leg to stand on, nothing to stand on with what they be saying, bro. A lot of they shit that they try to teach you is some shit that you can make anything fit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They try to just say, oh yeah, these are the brothers and it. Listen, man, nobody knows. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? None of this shit can be proved by science. None of this. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's all faith based.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
there were Native Americans that were taken after Columbus got here. They were Native Americans that were taken on ships to Europe, and it was only like 300 of them that survived. But they used that. They also used that to say, you see, the Hispanics or the 10 tribes, they also fulfilled Deuteronomy 28:68. It's crazy. It never ends.
yeah, Tazbaki said that too. In that conquest of the 12 tribes, he broke out, you know what I'm saying, the Hispanics and all that in the Deuteronomy 28. Bro, it's all up to what you believe, faith. You believe that and you believe that. You know what I mean? Nobody could prove it 100%.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I keep doing what you're doing, bro. It's entertaining to me, but sometimes I'd be like, man, because I don't like hearing them dudes, man.
Yeah, I kind of want to get him. I want to get him on here to get him in real time. You know, because like this cat Isaiah 8:20, he's gonna be able to just type whatever he wants, and it's easy to slip and slide. It's like it's so easy to slide away and just move on like nothing happened. But I ask him a question, he just ignore it. You know, but if I have him live, I could actually hear him and hold him to his word and see what he has to say about this and that. Because I never heard a good understanding of what by the way whereof I spake unto thee meant. Because that right there tells you.
And this is why, for the most part, you're not gonna get them live, bro, because they ain't trying to get trapped up in their words.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm saying? When we was in the cult, we had to sit back and listen to Tazadaki because if you interrupt them or whatever, security would throw you out on your ass.
I think
so. You had to sit there.
Yeah, my bad. They say you got an echo.
Oh, word?
They said if you could turn your YouTube down, I don't even hear an echo.
Turn my YouTube down. I'll turn my volume down. Yeah. Is it because I got headphones or something?
No, I think you're good, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, but I was saying like
there's background noise, but that's fine.
I was in that place with you. I was in there for a long time, bro. I knew exactly what you're saying. And listen, man, they can say what they want. We know what it is. Even when we was in there, we never really got an understanding of the 12 tribe breakdown, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never got a full breakdown of the 12 tribes. Even the stuff with you could kind of say Judah, kind of say Issachar, but it wasn't nothing definite.
Yeah, right. Issachar is a strong ass. And but so are Guatemalans. Guatemalans be working too, man. And there's Zebulun.
Yeah, but it depends how you look at the scriptures, because guess what? Judah got a fat ass. for the most part. That's what they want to say. Negroes, you know what they call Judah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that shit is all up to interpretation, and again, it's faith based, bro. I believed I was Ephraim because I was in there, but I couldn't prove that shit 100%. What I'm gonna tell you, a cake unturned. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
Cake unturned, but then there's also in Deuteronomy 33 or Genesis 49. His branches go over the wall. Remember that one?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
that means they mix with the other nations, man.
Anything, man.
Yeah, but to them is because Ephraim mixed with the other nations, nigga. Everybody mixed with the other nations. What you talking about, bro?
Everybody mixed with everybody. Yeah.
This guy's an idiot, man. These dudes is idiots, all of them. And hopefully, I can help you.
There's a lot of black people even today in America that they do their DNA test and find out they're actually mixed with white, like to the 30%, 40% and shit. That's like as much, that's like that's a good chunk. Like Terrence Howard or Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross. Like, these people are considered black people, but that they have white in them. It's like
Look at Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying?
Barack Obama.
Yeah, listen. Hopefully, I can help you get these fools to come on here and battle you with the scriptures by talking down on them, making them get aggravated and angry and want to come on here.
Yeah, this guy right here. I'm gonna try to get him on right now. Actually, if you can come on, Matham Yad, and please tell me what archaeology are you talking about? Because do you want to start? We could start with the Father Nazario stones.
He's on
archaeology. Nah, he's just like commenting, but let me see. You come on right there. Oh yeah, I could hear myself in the background.
So if Sun comes on, I'll leave so that way you could have a one-on-one.
Yeah, he's not gonna come on.
None of them.
No archaeology.
I'm telling you, none of them are, bro. You could put your challenges out there, and I wish they would. I know they're not though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I wish they would.
I put the link for you to come on, Matham Yad Ban Yashikar. Please come on, and we could talk about the Las Lunas stones. We could talk about the Padre Nazario stones. We could talk about the Back Creek stone. We could talk about the Ohio Decalogue stone. I know about all that stuff, man, and I've done my research on it. And I don't think that I think that because they already believe that it's true, they have a confirmation bias. They're not trying to do proper research on it, man. They want it to be true already.
Yo, you remember when Tazbak just said he was gonna get a few brothers and they're gonna have basically like he's gonna do debates against the world, as he would say, to show the truth.
And he never what happened?
Never happened.
Yeah. The only one I see really doing something like that is Sakari, Gorilla Hebrew, and all of that. And, they really go out there like that.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun to watch, you know what I'm saying? But they don't really got no proof besides, again, what they believe, and they'll show you. There's books that they have that'll mention something, and they'll take one little piece of the whole book, and their whole belief is on that one little piece.
Yeah.
With no proof on that piece. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's no proof, man. If it was true what they say, then why is it different 12 tribe signs with different people? Right. You know what I'm saying? You have different people known as whatever tribe it is. What's the tribe they say? They give nice words. I think is it Naphtali?
Neftali.
Yeah. I remember one time when we was out there doing unit work, and this dude was like, on their sign, they had Naphtali was the Hawaiians, because you know why? Naphtali
Yo,
gives you good words, and they say aloha when you come to Hawaii. I said, get the fuck out of here, bro. How you come up with that?
all right, bro.
Niggas say
Listen,
aloha.
I'm gonna try to get this dude on, bro. And you know, I want to battle this dude, but they're saying you got too much background noise or something. I don't know.
All right, you want me to? I'll just get off now then. It's all good.
Nah, bro. My bad. You know, I'll talk to you soon, though. Bro.
So get off. I get off then.
I'll kick you off, bro.
Oh, excuse me.
Dyer, you gotta watch after your investments.
I got you, bro. Peace.
Yeah, nah, yeah. Keep this moving, man. I appreciate you, bro. Mad love. That's Brooklyn Outlaw, my brother right there. He used to be in the IUS in the ICGJC Orlando. Okay. He said debate Captain Kataza. Yo, let me tell you something, Matham Yad Ban Yashikar. I'm gonna share a video with you that I did against Captain Kataza, where I actually called in, but because y'all motherfuckers need to be in control, I got kicked off of this shit after I started shutting him down because he had no response. Do you know about the Father Nazario stones? Like, do you know about the Father Nazario stones, Matham Yad? Can you come on and stop being a bitch? Talking on the sideline? Come on and talk. I hate this shit. I don't like this texting shit. Just come on and talk to me, man. What's going on? Like, I put the fucking link right there. Why can't you come on? Why you refer me to somebody else? Do you have no confidence in yourself? Let me show you what I did to Captain Katazad of the fucking ISUPK. His white ass. He wants to be black so bad, man. It's a fucking goddamn shame. It's embarrassing how he wants to be black so bad. My nigga's white as shit. Join the live, man. Stop being a fucking background dancer. But somebody said, what do you think about Vladimir Putin putting this shit out? This is what I think about it. Here's a Vladimir Putin icon where he looks fucking brown. What do you got to say about that? Here's Vladimir Putin looking black or brown as shit. What do we got to say about that? Huh? Does that mean that Vladimir Putin is black? Oh, look how brown Vladimir Putin is. That must mean that Vladimir Putin was black. The best way for you to test a genetic claim is by testing it genetically, man. I've said this a million times. I've said this so many times. The best way for you to test the genetic claim is genetically, not by looking at a photo, because who the fuck were the ones that drew up the Israelites during the time of the Byzantine Empire? They didn't see Moses. They didn't see John the Baptist. They didn't see Paul. They didn't see Jesus or Mary. They were just doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do. It's not eyewitness account. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what to tell you at this point. Like, I don't see you. Matham Yad. I hate when these cats do this shit. You know what I mean? Like, why can't you just come on, man? Like, I'm not gonna embarrass you because they think that they're gonna get embarrassed. That's what it is. They're not that faithful in their belief, man. Their belief is very shaky. They know that it doesn't make sense that a Mexican and a Haitian are the same people. You know that it don't make sense, man. Stop lying to yourself, man. Why are you doing that to yourself? And now you forcing people to listen to you, your dumb ass. And it's gonna be nothing but people that are ignorant and uninformed. Mexicans are not the same as Haitians. Not even close, bro. You're fucking thousands of years apart, man. They've been separated for millenniums, I think. Like that's 100 fucking 1,000 years. I mean, more than that, actually, more than millenniums. Yeah, it's a fact. Multiple millenniums. I'm talking about over 20,000 years, man. These people have been separated longer than that. Black people from natives, like they've been evolving in their own fucking areas in their own time for years. And that's why you have all the genetic mutations and these changes that happen. And now you got people that don't look African, or you got people that don't look black anymore because they've been in a different part of the world and they've been evolving on their own. But Captain Kataza, I mean, you could just put, if you put Captain Kataza and San Miguel TV, you see how it says that? Can you see that? Nope. Boom. Pow. Yo, let's make a fucking fool out of this guy tonight. Let's do it, man. Which was the first one? All right, so this was the first one. I had a conversation with this fucking fool, and he would not.
What do you do with the 800 stones that was found and authenticated inside of Puerto Rico? The 800 stones that was. What do you do with the 800 stones that was found and authenticated inside of Puerto Rico, stating that not only it belongs to these people, it's written in ancient Hebrew, and it has the 10 tribes that left Salmanesse's captivity?
Okay, so I would challenge what you believe is some Hebrew. So you mentioned the stones
broke up
in Puerto Rico, the 800 stones.
You just broke up.
It's never been verified that it was Hebrew. It's actually dated to the 1400s, 14th century, and those are stones that can be carried from Spain to Puerto Rico. That's not like the Las Lunas stone, which is something that cannot be carried. So that just finding some stones, because in Puerto Rico you have nothing else that shows that they had a written language. There's nothing else that shows that they even had a written language that connects that. So that's out of context.
No,
so
it's
the
not.
best explanation. I'm sorry.
It's not. But I'll wait. I'll wait until you're done. And I don't know if you want to go artifact for artifact.
He wants to go artifact for artifact. I wanted to do one at a time. He wanted to jump around and this and that. We're talking about the Las Lunas Decalogue stone. So can we stick to that? I spoke to Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, who said there's no Hebrew on it. There's nothing that's ever been found like what was found on the Las Lunas Father Nazario stones, in Puerto Rico. There's no Hebrew on it. It's already been verified that there's no Hebrew on it. Like, what are y'all reading? I don't understand what y'all reading. The Miami Herald already fucking told y'all that those stones, those 800 stones, had no Hebrew in it. Let me look this up real quick. It was 2019. Was it one after that? Let's see. Oh, excusez-moi. Barbacoa. Yeah, we're gonna just play this shit. Let me see. Yeah, this is it. I think this is it right here. I don't know if y'all can see what I'm seeing. Oh no, y'all seeing something else. Okay, so X that. Share this tab, and I'm gonna play this on audio, so that way we don't have to read it. They'll read it for us or whatever the fuck. So let's do that. De cualquier malla sale un ratón, oye. All right, so it's a 9-minute read, so bear with me.
Dismissed as fakes for a century, enigmatic Puerto Rican stones could rewrite history. For more than a century, the fist-sized rocks etched with enigmatic patterns were ignored by academics and shunned by cultural power brokers. Discovered in Puerto Rico in the 1880s by a priest who was convinced they were a link to one of the lost tribes of Israel, the stones were declared forgeries in the early 1900s by researchers from the Smithsonian Institution. And so the rocks languished, literally collecting dust. When Puerto Rican archaeologist Reniel Rodriguez Ramos first stumbled onto the collection in 2001, the artifacts were so unappreciated that one was being used as a doorstop. These stones were considered garbage, Rodriguez recalls. They were getting no love from any institution or even any archaeologist in Puerto Rico. But now the rocks, known as or Father Nazario stones, are undergoing a radical re-evaluation. Not only is there growing evidence that they're genuine antiquities, there are also clues that they might represent a lost language, a finding that could rewrite the island's pre-Columbian history. Standing in his cramped lab at the University of Puerto Rico's Utuado campus, Rodriguez puts one of the stones under a magnifying glass and describes the figure he sees chiseled into its surface. It seems to be the profile of a man wearing something akin to a turban. Lines curving around the stone's surface are pocked with small symbols. Rodriguez has identified about 20 symbols that repeat across the more than 300 stones he's studied. Initially, he thought the angles and sloping lines might be astronomical information, a guide to the cosmos. It's a system of annotation, not a decoration, Rodriguez said, cradling a stone. Is it a commercial or spiritual annotation? Is it a registry of names? We don't know yet, but it's something revolutionary in the Americas. Puerto Rico's original inhabitants, the Tainos, left the English language a colorful array of words, including cayman, barbecue, papaya and hurricane. And the island is scattered with carved stones known as petroglyphs. But there were no traces of a written language as such. The Padre Nazario stones could change that, if the larger scientific community agrees with Rodriguez that they're real. The story of why the stones have been written off as fakes goes back to the early 1900s and a man named Jesse Walter Fuchs. Born in Massachusetts in 1850, Fuchs was a Harvard-trained zoologist who developed a love for archaeology and anthropology. After the United States annexed Puerto Rico from the Spanish in 1898, the Bureau of American Ethnology commissioned Fuchs to study this new American acquisition. He started traveling the island in 1902, branching out to Haiti, Cuba and Trinidad as he tried to understand the Arawakan cultures that lived there before Columbus' arrival in 1492. On one of those expeditions, Fuchs met Jose Maria Nazario, a priest and amateur archaeologist from Guayanilla on Puerto Rico's southern coast. Nazario had collected about 800 of the enigmatical stones from the mountains of western Puerto Rico and Fuchs tried to buy them for the National Museum. His offer was rebuffed, but 6 stones ended up at the Smithsonian Institution and are now stored in the fake collection. Padre Nazario considers that these hieroglyphics belong to the ancient writing possessed by the prehistoric Puerto Ricans. A label for one of the stones at the Smithsonian reads, "In Nazario's collection there are several bureaus full of stone objects inscribed like this." He also has a stone slab covered with these figures, believed by Dr. Fuchs to be a fraud. Fuchs' judgment, powerful and definitive, shut down further research into the stones. And in academic circles the prevailing theory was that Puerto Rican locals in the late 1800s had made the fake antiquities to dupe the Spanish priest. Rodriguez said the rocks were never even mentioned when he was an archaeology student.
Wow.
And while local naturalists and historians have written about the artifacts, there has not been a single page written by an archaeologist about these stones, and they've been around for 140 years, Rodriguez said. The dark cloud left by Fuchs persists. When Rodriguez started to seriously study the stones again in 2011, his friends warned him he was committing academic suicide. Rodriguez pushed ahead anyway. "My aspiration is not to teach at Harvard. I'm here in Utuado and that's all I care about," he said. The decades of neglect had also taken their toll on the stones. Of the 800 that were originally in Nazario's possession, only about 330 remain. Most are in Puerto Rico, including at an archaeology museum in Guayanilla, but some are at Harvard's Peabody Museum, where they're also in the fake collection, and others are at the Quai Branly Museum in Paris. When Rodriguez approached a fellow researcher, Christopher Rolston, about the stones, Rolston was fully aware of their reputation. A professor of Hebrew, Phoenician and Aramaic at George Washington University, Rolston has made a career out of spotting forged antiquities. "I've debunked a lot of scriptural forgeries over the past couple of decades," Rolston said in a telephone interview. And a lot of people believed these were modern forgeries from the late 1800s. Rolston traveled to Puerto Rico earlier this year to study the stones. In the diagonal lines that Rodriguez first interpreted as astronomical angles, or perhaps representations of mummy-like wrappings, Rolston saw register lines, like the lines of a ruled sheet of paper. And below and above those lines were a series of symbols that repeated across the stones. While Rodriguez has identified about 20 separate symbols, Rolston said there aren't enough to think of it as an alphabet or even a complex non-alphabetic writing system. My sense is that these symbols are not Mesoamerican writing, they're not Aztec or Mayan, they're definitely not that, he said. And yet I don't believe they are forgeries from the late 1800s.
So he's saying that he doesn't believe that these are forgeries. My bad. I know I let that go on for a while. But this is what Katsuza, his lying ass, was trying to tell me, that because they're not forgeries, that means that they must have Hebrew on them. A forgery, just like Black Hebrew Israelism. So, but the stones are not forgeries. So they have historical value. And because that came out in 2019, right here on the Miami Herald, it came out that they were historically valuable. You got people like Gorilla Hebrew and Katsuza lying and saying that this shit is true, that this is Hebrew, and it's not Hebrew. Just because it's historically valuable doesn't mean that it has Hebrew magically. Let me continue playing this, because this article is being read. This is the whole article being read. Check what it says now.
Either. These seem to represent a fledgling writing system that is different than the writing systems that we know. In his report, Rolston posits that those attempting to write upon these stones perhaps knew about or had seen written language, but for some reason they did not attempt to replicate the signs.
So he's saying that whoever wrote whatever they wrote on these stones, they were attempting to replicate a written language. He's saying that it doesn't even seem like they understood what they were writing. Like they were just kind of like just drawing. You ever just did like gibberish or any chicken scratch or whatever? It's kind of like that is what he's saying. It's like he's saying that it's like resembles, like it's called stimulus diffusion. Look up stimulus diffusion. I've looked it up. Maybe I'll do that in a minute. But yeah, he says, I'm referring to the representation of those groups. Okay, got you, sir. So let's go back. Let's listen to this a little bit more, man. This is interesting, right? Listen, man, this is like, I'm not trying to fool nobody. You think like I'm trying to start a goddamn cult or something? I'm trying to get people to join San Miguel TV and y'all got to fucking pay 20% tithes or whatever. Like, I'm out here just doing what I do. I know this shit. I know this shit very well. I used to be in these cults. I used to be in a cult, Hebrew Israelite cult. And I'm just not a part of it anymore. But I feel it's important for people to realize the errors that they're making, the lies. You have to know where to find the lies at. Don't get mad because I'm exposing the lies. They get mad at me because I'm exposing the lies. And they think, oh, this nigga, you a coon and you a gringo and you're a conquistador. It's like, but damn, 15 minutes ago when you thought I was whatever, a Simeonite, I was all good and cool with you. But now that I'm not a Simeonite, or now that I'm not talking like how you guys are talking, now I'm not a Simeonite anymore. Simeonites can't talk like somebody else. Every Simeonite has to believe in the Hebrew Israelite shit. So I might still be a Simeonite according to what you believe, but you just want to destroy whatever I have to say and kind of stain my name and say, well, this guy is an Edomite anyway, so forget what he has to say. Since when does somebody's race or nationality have to do with the truth that's coming out of their mouths? You fucking lying pieces of shit. Bunch of garbage motherfuckers out here. Let's go back to the stones, man. Very important right here that you listen to what's about to be said right now.
Were the symbols of that writing system. And contrary to what Father Nazario believed, the symbols aren't Hebrew or
what? Contrary to the what? Let's hear that again.
Symbols of that writing system. And contrary to what Father Nazario believed, the symbols aren't Hebrew or Phoenician brought to the New World by one of the lost tribes of Israel. Despite enduring speculation that one of the so-called lost tribes might have made their way halfway around the world, Rolston said there is ample evidence in the Bible and from other sources that those tribes, scattered after the fall of the northern kingdom of Israel/Samaria in 722 BC, never made it out of the ancient Near East.
They never made it out of the ancient Near East. Christopher Ralston is an epigrapher that knows how to deal with all this shit. And he's telling you that this shit, like these Israelites that were there in Assyria, they stayed there for years, man. They never left. We know where they are. They were never lost. They were right there. Built for Speed says, San Miguel TV, I never heard of the Lost Luna Decalogue Stone. I got my, for real, you never heard it? Well, yo, Vocab Malone and killed this shit already. But actually it wasn't Vocab Malone, it was Michael Heiser, the late great Michael Heiser. Rest in peace to that guy. So go check out what Michael Heiser has done. He and Vocab Malone has interviewed him. And you know what they say about the Lost Luna Decalogue Stone? That's in New Mexico. There are Hebrew Israelites that have done videos that went out there and they record themselves in front of the Lost Luna Decalogue Stone and say, you see, this is Hebrew, this and that. And it is Hebrew on there. But the date that shit is given is like the 1600s or something like that, or the 1500s that was written. There were already Jewish people here in America by then. So they could have written that. And they actually did. And it tells you that there were annotations that show you that this was a Sephardic Jewish type of thing that came from Spain. There's certain markings on the Hebrew that show you this thing came later on when the Spanish started putting their own little twist to the Hebrew. And Michael Heiser, is that his name? Michael Heiser? I think that's his name. Christian. You know, he passed away not too long ago. Yo, he did his thing on that. He did his thing on that, man. The Lost Luna Decalogue Stone. Look that up, man. I can't believe he died, man. He died February 19th. He just died this year. Lost Luna. Yeah, the Lost Luna Decalogue Stone in New Mexico. We'll get into that shit next. Vocab Malone, that's what comes up. Vocab Malone doing his thing. That's what you gotta do, man. This is why I do what I do, man. Because it's like, you know, like I could leave it up to Vocab Malone. I could leave it up to whoever. But I'm somebody that used to be in there, man. Who's gonna tell you better than somebody like me? Vocab Malone could only tell you so much, man. And he's gonna have people like me come on and tell you, yeah, this is I got this guy who's a reference. Well, that's who I am. And this is who these former members are too, that Vocab Malone chooses to have. But people like Vocab Malone and Abu or K-Dub True, they take the time out to learn, you know, and this is not a knock to anybody, but they take the time out to realize, because these people are constantly going to throw things at you and say, well, what about this? And then you shut that down, they're going to be like, well, what about this? And you know what comes up is the Las Lunas Decalogue Stone be coming up. The Father Nazario stones comes up. The Ohio Decalogue Stone, that's another one. The Back Creek Stone is another one. There's so many of them, and all of them have their own different type of falsehood to it. The Decalogue Stone is actual Hebrew, but it wasn't written by Native Americans. The Ohio Decalogue Stone is a forgery. That's a straight forgery. The Back Creek Stone is a forgery. The Father Nazario stones is not a forgery, but it doesn't have Hebrew. And if you don't know that, you know, yeah, good job finding that. I was gonna put that on next, but let's continue with the Miami Herald story. It's very important, man, because it's like I've heard Gorilla Hebrew go over this, and he doesn't even like the dude just said it doesn't have Hebrew in it. Let's go back. But he said that at
writing system that is different than the writing systems that we know. In his report, Rolston posits that those attempting to write upon these stones perhaps knew about or had seen written language, but for some reason they did not attempt to replicate the signs or the symbols of that writing system. And contrary to what Father Nazario believed, the symbols aren't Hebrew or Phoenician brought to the New World by one of the lost tribes of Israel. Despite enduring speculation that one of the so-called lost tribes might have made their way halfway around the world, Rolston said there is ample evidence in the Bible and from other sources that those tribes, scattered after the fall of the northern kingdom of Israel/Samaria in 722 BC, never made it out of the ancient Near East. From the perspective of scholarship, we've known for about 150 years that the tribes of Israel weren't lost. We know entirely what happened to them, Rolston said. Another key piece of evidence came from the University of Haifa in Israel. Using state-of-the-art microscopes, researchers determined that the weathering of the stones, subtle changes due to prolonged exposure to the elements, proved that they had been out in the open for years after they had been engraved. That is, the stones weren't etched during the era that Father Nazario found them. In addition, while Fuchs said the stones were carved with iron instruments, further proof that they were modern-day forgeries and not Stone Age relics, the Israeli researchers cast doubt on that theory. If they had been
Yeah, so they weren't forgeries. If Father Nazario had something to do with the stone, they would have came up that this shit was done around the time when Father Nazario lived, and they realized that it wasn't. So Father Nazario could have just came across these things and perpetuated a lie, started a lie and perpetuated it. I have no reason to believe that the Native Americans of the indigenous people of those of the Puerto Rico, that they were the ones that came up with the story. I think Father Nazario used this interesting, these stones. Oh, and the cacique woman. Let me use this to say this. I think he could have did that. Since when do Hebrew Israelites trust a Roman Catholic priest anyways, man? Father Nazario was Roman Catholic. Since when do Hebrew Israelites trust this? Oh, he was an Israelite. Was he an Israelite? Father Nazario was from where? Wasn't he a white man? He wasn't a Puerto Rican dude. Let me look this up. Father Nazario. Padre Nazario. Who is Father Nazario? Not that it matters. But just to shut down the Israelite shit. And he could have been born in Puerto Rico, but what are Puerto Ricans, man? Puerto Ricans are white as hell, man. And I think Father Nazario was one of them. But okay, either way, since when do Hebrew Israelites believe in Roman Catholics and what they have to say? But all of a sudden, now that it confirms their belief, oh, now we got to go with that. See, then they'll say that, and then they'll say this, even though in one side of their mouth they'll say, well, you know, the white man is a liar and blah, blah, blah. And then the other side of their mouth, they're like, but even the white man would tell you. You hear this constantly. Even the white man will say this. What do you mean, even the white man? Aren't you trying to say that the white man is the devil, so everything that he says is wrong? So what do you mean that even the white man will tell you that, blah, blah, blah? But there are white people that will tell you that you're lying too. So it doesn't matter that it's a white person saying it. It doesn't matter that at all. It doesn't matter if Father Nazario's whatever the fuck. But these people will tell you that it does matter. It doesn't matter to me. These people will tell you that, oh, he's white, that's bad. He's a Catholic, that's bad. So let's finish the Miami Herald story, because I mean,
made with metal instruments, the researchers expected to find microscopic traces of the metal in the grooves. They didn't. There's still a long road for the stones to take their proper place in history. Rodriguez is working on a paper encapsulating the new research, which will have to survive the peer review process.
He sent
and
me
even
that.
if he convinces the larger scientific community,
he actually sent me that paper. It's on academia.edu. If y'all want to look that up, look up. You could create an account. Create an account for academia.edu. That website is dope as fuck, man. You get actual professors' thesis before they even hit anybody else. Well, obviously it's going to be after they get to the students. That's what I'm thinking. But either way, it gets put up there. And he told me, I told him, I was like, I already follow you on Academia. But he was like, oh, I'm on there. And I said, I know you're on there. I'm looking at your shit all the time. And this is just, there's no pictures. There's no videos. There's no funny San Miguel jokes. It's just you just straight reading, all his evidence and his trials, his testing, his hypothesis, his conclusions, whatever, all of that, man. It's like this guy is a professor. He's an archaeologist. He doesn't fuck around with no faith. It's not about faith. This guy is like, he goes through the actual process of testing and trying things. So yeah, let's finish this in
Community that the stones are real. What they represent remains a mystery. Rodriguez believes there's a chance that the stones, or at least their writing, came from some other region or continent. It's a contentious theory. Research into pre-Columbian maritime trade routes is usually taken about as seriously as studies of Bigfoot and ancient aliens, he said. But I think these stones could potentially be the first robust evidence to begin having a discussion about the possibility of, or pre-Columbian navigators, he said.
That's why that's so important. That's why that's so important what he just said, is that it's going to open up the door for people to start taking it more serious, because Hebrew Israelites will tell you, well, they don't want you to know that you're an Israelite. That's why they're not taking it serious. But really it's that they're just so set on their belief that pre-Columbia, pre-Christopher Columbus, there was no language, there was no alphabet. I mean, there was no written alphabet, and these people were just straight savages, and they didn't have much of a society or any type of system set up in their life. And Father Nazario, Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, he's actually kind of shooting down that he's showing more civilization amongst the Puerto Ricans, which is amazing. Like this guy, I told him, I was like, bro, I think what you're doing is amazing. I told him straight up, man. Like, like I was saying earlier, listen, if I see Nas or Havoc from Mobb Deep or Tragedy Gaddafi or Capone or Noriega or some of these rappers that I like, I'm going to be a little starstruck. But this cat, man, this guy is doing things that's even bigger and better, man. And where the Hebrew Israelites at, man? You could come on my live stream. Like, stop being... Where did the dude go? Where did the dude go that was just asking all these questions? Dude, you should talk to Kataza. I did talk to Kataza. He didn't want to talk to me. He's a bitch ass nigga. We're gonna get back to him. Kataza's bitch ass. That's my arch nemesis right there.
To begin seriously studying these stones, used to working in obscurity, Rodriguez has found that they have made him something of a celebrity on an island unaccustomed to good news. When he gave a conference about the stones in Guayanilla, where some of the stones are on display, more than 400 people attended. The mayor gave him the keys to the city. Rodriguez said the existence of the stones broadens the island's sense of history. The stones question the meta-narrative that Columbus brought writing and history with him. That's why they call everything before him prehistory, he said. Yeah. That type of thinking separates us from hundreds and thousands of years of our own history. It's not the same to tell a people you have 500 years of history as to tell them your history goes back 6,000 years.
There you go. That's it right there, baby. And he's just right on point, man. Everything he said, he's trying to be honest. He's trying to be a scientist. He's trying to be, follow the evidence. This is not what Hebrew Israelites do. Hebrew Israelites don't try to follow the evidence, man. They begin with a bias. They begin with a claim, and then they try to prove that claim to be true instead of trying to disprove their claim. They don't know what a scientific method even is. They just try to confirm what they already believe in, which is real easy to do if you're gonna lie. I mean, if you're gonna lie, if you're gonna ignore things that debunk your belief, that's very easy to do. Oh shit, you could do that anytime. Coñazo. All right, well, let's get back to this dumb motherfucker.
Like the problem is that you haven't done your history on the stones. I don't know if you're on Wikipedia. I've done.
He said the problem is that you haven't done your research on the stones. Because I don't believe in what he believes in, I must not know about the stones, man. You know how long I've been studying this shit? Since before he came into this fucking Hebrew Israelite ISUPK shit. I was already in 1 West 125th Street in 2004, 2005. They try to say ISUPK is 1 West. Nigga, I was in 1 West And it wasn't no ISUPK in 04. It was the ICGJC. Why was I at 1 West 125th Street under the ICGJC? Shouldn't it have been the ISUPK if you are the home of the truth since 1969? You lying motherfuckers. You guys just be lying. Wow. Play this shit.
And thorough
I
research
actually
on.
have.
You haven't, but go ahead.
I have done it. It doesn't say that it's Hebrew. They thought it was Phoenician, and now they're saying that it's not even that. I looked at the Miami Herald report on it. There's the Sun report on it, and it doesn't say that it's connected to the Puerto Ricans or the Tainos. There's nothing else in that island that would confirm that, like in a cave or something, where you can't move it from Spain over. So you can say, okay, they had this written language here. It doesn't say it was Hebrew from what I read. And then it dates it to the 14th century, which is really close to when the Spanish started coming there.
Where did they find the stones?
Say that again?
Where did they find the stones?
According to Father Nazario, his account, he said he got it from a woman that said these are healing stones.
Okay, and she got the
so it was
stones
found
from
in
where?
Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico.
She got the stones from where? Because there's more to that story.
Well, this is according to the story. So this is a story, right? You know, we don't know what Father Nazario knew or what that woman. This is not even a story coming directly from. This is a secondhand story from a woman that nobody even met. So we're talking about a secondhand story now. Like, how valid is this? Now, how do we know that she just didn't believe that this came from some people that came across the seas? You know, what stones heal people too? Do those stones actually have healing powers?
Because I'm gonna help you out, right? Because these stones,
but do those stones actually have healing powers?
These stones were passed down. This is why she had them. That's what you're leaving out.
Okay.
So in order for you to turn around, and say that these stones were just there in the 1400s, that's bullshit.
All right. I don't want them to copyright my shit. But they were here 600 years ago. That's the 1400s, you idiot. So this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Shit, because once again, I don't know at what point you're reading that, because here's the thing, right? First, they tried to say that the stones were fake, right? But the Smithsonian still wanted to buy them. Why are you buying something that's fake? That doesn't make any sense. You get what I'm saying? They wanted to get them away before they could validate it. Two, they said it is Hebrew. That's why when they translated it, it translated into Hebrew. That doesn't make any sense. You get what I'm saying? They wanted to get them away before they could validate it. Two, they said it is Hebrew. That's why when they translate,
it's not Hebrew, man. This guy's bugging. There's nobody that says that this is Hebrew. That's an actual expert in these things. What they're looking at is .orgs, websites that end in .orgs. That could be any fucking body, or .info or .net. These are not valid, reliable sources. They're just not. You gotta go to the .edus and the .coms. And even with .coms, you got to be careful. Even with .edus, you got to be careful. Nothing is 100% valid out here. There's going to be mistakes that people make. But they've been testing this shit and looking into it for years. And what they've done recently with Christopher Ralston, where he spent 3 weeks, I think he said he spent a whole month in Puerto Rico with him. He got Christopher Ralston to come out to Puerto Rico. I think he paid his whole fucking trip. Because he's a you know, like he said, he's a rock star. He called him. He's an expert epigrapher that is known for spotting forgeries. And it's not that this is a forgery. I'm not saying that this is a forgery where somebody put fake Hebrew. It's not Hebrew on it. Why is he telling? Yo, this nigga is such a liar, man. And I want to call him out on this right here because you're saying you ISUPK, the home of the truth. We have the 100% certified truth. Well, then you shouldn't be getting things like this wrong. Why are you getting things like this wrong? And why is San Miguel TV shutting you down on this, man? Where the fuck are you at with this debate? Like, where's your response? There's never a response to clearly clarify, oh, well, you know, this is why this is that. And there's no way to clarify it. Father Nazario, the Father Nazario stones do not contain any Hebrew. Father Nazario is not an expert in Hebrew. So who gives a fuck what he said? Why would you give a fuck what the Catholic priest says anyways, you Hebrew Israelite morons? And now here are the experts saying it doesn't have Hebrew. We just read the Miami Herald report, man. Why do you keep? I don't understand. Like, yo, I would literally like get pissed off if somebody's in my face lying to me like this, man, and continually just trying to get around what the truth is saying. You're gonna piss me off and I'm gonna fucking smack you or something. Like, this shit's crazy. These niggas that come on here, these Hebrew Israelites like Mathamya, whatever the fuck, yo, you don't have the confidence in you to come on my live stream and actually go toe to toe with me and head to head with me on this shit. Because you think I ain't just some regular fucking dude that didn't come into this shit. I understand what you guys believe. I understand what you guys believe. And guess what? In the words of fucking Sizzler Kalanji, I overstand you. I overstand that. I've been through that shit, man. I don't think like this shit it's no real truth to this stuff, man. Is it historically valuable? The Father Nazario stones are historically valuable. Do they have Hebrew on it? A resounding no. They don't have Hebrew on it, man. How many times do people have to tell you that? The Father Nazario stones do not have Hebrew. It's never been proven. You niggas have never got these fucking stones in your hands because you guys claim to be experts in Hebrew, but you guys never have looked at them to tell, oh yeah, I could. You guys don't have no scholarship in this stuff. You ain't experts in no epigraphy. You guys used to eat pig feet. Now you talking about epigraphy. Nah. Let's go right back to this shit.
It translated into Hebrew words, Hebrew names, and the names of the tribes.
Wrong!
So for it to be any other language would be asinine. You understand?
For it to be any other language would be asinine. What? It would be asinine for the stones to have any other language in it. Because why? Because of what? What are you telling me, man? It doesn't make sense what he just said. What he just said makes no sense. It would be asinine for it to have any other. Because I'm telling you that it has Hebrew in it, it would be asinine for it to not have Hebrew in it. Wow, you're so fucking wise, you fucking Jew Rican. This is a Jew Rican right here. The gingerbread man.
And outside of that, right? When you
wants to be black so bad, he got a black girlfriend and everything.
Take a look at these actual writings. They did find them in caves, and not only on this island, but they matched writings that were found also in Cuba and Hispaniola.
You heard what he said? And he's going to tell me later on that he never said what he just said. He said that they have found writings that have matched this in Cuba and other places. In Hispaniola? What are you talking about? There was never Dr. Reniel Rodriguez tells you that there has never been anything found of this sort. So how could it be that this resembles something in Hispaniola in Cuba? And when I asked him later on, he was like, I can tell that you haven't been listening to anything that I'm saying because I never said that. Yes, you just did. you said that they were drawings in caves, that they were found in caves. What I was trying to say is that if you have drawings or inscriptions in caves, then we know we can test it and see that, okay, this is a cave. Obviously, the cave wasn't moved from Israel to Puerto Rico, so it wasn't real Jews that wrote that. Now, if you have stones, though, then this is what I was trying to say, but later on it came out that those stones are actually native to Puerto Rico. So I was trying to throw out something that is actually not conclusive with the evidence. But still, let's say that these are stones that have Hebrew in them. Stones can be carried on your person. They can be taken over here to over there to over there to over there to over there. It's stones. It doesn't mean that people that are in Puerto Rico now put whatever is on those stones just because you found stones in Puerto Rico that could have possibly been brought from somewhere else. Now, it's been proven that those stones are native to Puerto Rico. They actually went into the fucking stones and the geology and picked it out and said, okay, this is native to Puerto Rico. This wasn't brought from another place where other people probably put Hebrew in it. You understand what I'm bringing that up, though, right? So that's why I was trying to tell him. But he's telling me that, well, why were there other things found with Hebrew in it in the Highland of Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, where I'm from, where my family's from, and in Cuba? And then when I ask him later on, he says, I never said that. Watch what he does. This dumb fuck.
Maybe you didn't dig deep enough inside the report. So these were not only consistent with the other islands and their migration where other Tainos were, but with them. And the whole point was they were being passed down from cacique to cacique. This woman was not a random woman. She was a direct descendant of the last cacique that was ruling the island.
Who cares? Ooh, she was a descendant of a cacique. To him, that means that they were Ephraimites. That's what that shit means to him, because he thinks he's an Ephraimite. This shit is like a conflict of interest, where him speaking on this, he should have nothing to say about this, because he's so fucking conflicted in his bias that he can't be truthful now, because this is detrimental to his worldview and his salvation. This needs to be true. So he's fighting for this to be true. This shit, I don't care if this shit's false or true. It means nothing. I don't care. I'm going to tell you the truth regardless. This nigga right here needs this shit to be true. So that's why he's fucking going to bat for this shit. Fuck this nigga right here, man. I'll go toe to toe with him at any time. And this nigga, I just spoke to him already. I told him, nigga, I'm going to do a fucking review of your own bullshit. And he was like, nobody cares. Meanwhile, I got more subscribers than his dumb ass. Captain Katazar's reddish, fake ass black man wannabe, man. You want to be black so bad. This nigga is sucking on black dick.
When the Spanish came, and that's why these were in here, because this was something that the Chiefs had. You understand? This was something that the Chiefs had and the Chiefs utilized. That not every single person would have even had access. This was, and that's why these were in here, because this was something that the Chiefs had. You understand? This was something that the Chiefs had and the Chiefs utilized, that not every single person would have even had access to. But because she was related, this is why they went to.
Who cares of the way that he's saying it? Listen to the way that he's talking this shit. Like it's like it's so passionate, because he needs this to be true, man. He needs to be a black person. He can't just be white. He hates the fact that he's white. It makes him like it's an internal struggle. I'm telling you, man. I know how this nigga thinks. He doesn't want to be white. He wants to fucking he fucking wants to relish in the fact that maybe his father was a little brown, or he might have some Taino or Arawak or some shit, or Boricua. He don't want to be white. He's ashamed of that. He's ashamed that he came out of a white, woman.
Her. and then Father Nazario came and found them. So you need to do your research.
Right.
That's exactly what
Well, I mean, that's the story.
That's exactly what I was telling him, is that Father Nazario was telling a story that a cacique woman gave him the stones. That's a story that he told. This is how we're hearing about this. And he's saying, this is how I got the stones. This woman said this, and this woman said that. He never said that the woman said anything about them being Israelites. He never said that. He started pushing the fact, he started pushing that these stones, they have Hebrew in them. Think about it, man. How much money and how famous would he have been if that shit would have been true? So that could have been a motivation right there for him to push that conflict of interest. And he's a religious person that already believes in the Bible. And he's Catholic, so he probably would already have believed in the fourth book of Esdras or the fourth book of Kings, 2nd Esdras chapter 13 in the Apocrypha. So I can't really trust him because his belief, he needs all this to be true. And this cat right here, Katazar, Captain Katazar's red ass, he needs this to be true in order for him to feel special and to feel validated. And he's, you know, riding the what do you call it? He's holding on to the what do you call it? The how they call it in the scripture, they said that they shall take the hold of whatever. And he's holding on to these doctrines that is really aimed towards African Americans or West Indians or people of color, black people. This is not really a thing that makes white Hispanics look good in any way. Like we have to deny our whiteness and try to act like we're more black than we really are, man. And I could tell you that I went through that. I can tell you straight up with a straight face that I went through that too. And do I have black? Of course I have African in me. I'm Dominican. But am I just black? I'm not just black. They try to put you in one box. And this nigga right here, he might have some black in him. But he's definitely got white in him, man. All of that is in there. It's mixed in. How do we know that he's an Ephraimite? Bro, the spirit bear witness with our spirit. All that bullshit. Listen to this cat just not want to deal with anything that I'm saying. And he's just trying to make me seem like I have no sense in anything. Actually, let's look at the second video because this one's way better. He keeps lying.
As they attribute a motive or an intent that you have by assuming some bad intent or bad.
That's all he does right there, for sure.
Who the fuck are you?
Find out today.
Who are you?
You gotta understand.
Yo, listen.
Israelite from the tribe of Ephraim. That's
He's an Israelite from the tribe of Ephraim, is what he says. His white ass. Look at the difference between him, and they always leaning up on somebody. Why is his hand all up on this guy's shoulder like that? That's a weird stance. It's like he's a mic stand. You're fearfully and wonderfully made by God, regardless of your nationality. Yo, yo, yo.
All right.
God.
Now here it goes. We obviously know, based on your phenotype, that the white man's swimming in your gene pool. Now we gotta defeat the white man. And I'm not attacking light-skinned blacks. I'm just attacking this man because I ain't sure who he is yet. What do you do to destroy that portion of the white man in your body? Because if the white man is the devil, it is clear that he is running through your veins. You are a hybrid. So I'm trying to ask you, as a hybrid.
I'm a hybrid according to who?
Listen, you are the iceberg lettuce of the black community. There's romaine lettuce and there's iceberg lettuce. You are iceberg lettuce. Yo, why you red? No, we got him out of here. We got him out of here.
He took the mic, brought him back, and then he took the mic again. That's what he did. This shit's crazy. Let's see here. And then the way his face looks, he looks so surprised. He get all scared. Look at him. He got all so scared. It looks like he got so scared at that. I love that song. Cheo Feliciano. I know some of y'all know that song. Brother Haram definitely knows that joint right there. The Father Nazario Stones. Let's go.
Question concerning Padre Nazario.
Okay, I want to know if there's like a reference of how I can read about how this has been authenticated as Hebrew.
I mean, offhand, I can't directly. I mean, here's what you could do, right?
That's weak.
Email Cross the Line Radio, and then I could send you some information on it. I got some articles that I've saved up, as well as there's a brother. I think his name is Yawasab, who did a.
I did email him. I emailed him, and I never got anything regarding the Father Nazario Stones, and no documentary or no fucking shit. The dude that he's talking about, Yawasab, he probably found out real quick that, oh shit, this shit doesn't corroborate what we're saying. He probably found out real quick, and they want to hide that shit. They don't want to admit what was heard. They're gonna tell the public, yeah, for the Nazario Stones, and it's like there's probably shit that Father Nazario, or that I keep saying Father Nazario, Reniel, Dr. Reniel has told these niggas that conflicts with their belief, and they won't repeat that. They won't repeat that. Otherwise, they won't. You know why you still an Israelite? You could say that there's other things, but if it confirms that the language that they were speaking and writing, if they've already confirmed that it's not Hebrew, what you come on, man. What else do you have to say after that? That's just crazy.
Direct interview with the brother. He traveled over to Puerto Rico. You'll be able to check that out. I think he did a whole documentary too.
The type of writing that is presented here, he thinks it's not Hebrew, it's not Phoenician. And based on his expertise, he could not say that the stones were, presented Hebrew writing.
That's it. That's it. That's what he's saying, that he agrees with Christopher Ralston, who's from Washington, George Washington University. He is an expert in epigraphy. That's what he does. Like Hebrew Israelites are experts in bullshit. This guy, Christopher Ralston, is an expert in epigraphy, and he'll tell you what these stones contain. You're not going to tell him. Who the fuck are you who has never even taken a look? I'm telling you, this guy, Christopher Ralston, according to Dr. Reniel, said that he spent about a month in Puerto Rico with him. He was studying epigraphy, and this is up close analysis, and you take photos of real close, zoom in, and they check every little swiggle, every little line, and how it's formed. They look at all of that, man. They check it up and down and left to right to make sure that they're on point. You think that they're gonna play around? They're not playing around like you niggas in the ICGJC and the IUIC, ISUPK, and GOCC and Sakari. You niggas are playing around, man. Why don't you get the expert on your show to talk? Like IUIC tried to do that, and then they cut the dude off right at the end when he says there's been Hebrew Israelite, or there's been natives or people in the Americas for 15,000 years. All of a sudden, pew. Let's end the interview there. What happened, man? Yo, like I'm ready to go to war with any of you niggas out here about this topic and other topics too. You tell me when, man. We can have anybody set up the debate. We can have a neutral person set up the debate. I'm willing to go on a Hebrew Israelites channel. FOPE, you already know. I already got mad. I got mad love for FOPE. FOPE, I mean, I don't have too much experience with them, but I haven't seen them do what they do in these churches like IUIC and ISUPK, lying, just straight lying to you. I've seen them actually try to be more like honest and disagree in their own like live streams. You'll have they always have like 20 people on their live stream. They have a whole fucking group of people, which is fine. But I've had one person from there tell me that they believe that Esau are white people, and then there was a person that said, "Well, we don't believe that." I was like, "Oh, okay, I like that. I actually kind of like that. You guys are not robots and shit, just fucking following what the next person says. You guys are thinking for yourselves, and you don't have to all agree, and y'all still cool with each other. Awesome, man. That shows me that the Hebrew Israelite movement is kind of changing a little bit." And I like that. That's good. That's how it should be. Shit. Who cares what one person believes from the Brooklyn Outlaw was on here? We don't believe in the same thing. Not every little detail of it. Essentially, overall, yeah, we have the same needs and wants, and we want love, we want comfort, we want security and stability for our children, we want all of that. That's what we do believe in the same things in a way, but there's of course these other things that's like we're gonna clash, and I'm trying to learn how to do that respectfully without offending people. But offenses must come, but woe unto him from which the offenses come. This is I don't want to keep going through this Captain Katazar shit, because like, to tell you the truth, man, the dude he's not trying to debate me. Like, he's trying to play it safe, and he thinks he's like better than people and shit. So he'll try to be like, "Man, nobody cares about you," but he's holding on to the fucking coattails. That's the word I was looking for earlier. He's hanging on to the coattails of Ariyah and Yeshaya and all these other people that came before him. He's just a dick rider. He didn't start this movement. What has he contributed to the movement at all? From what I'm seeing, he's contributing straight bullshit to the movement. And I've been in this shit since 2004. This nigga didn't come in before me. Just because I'm out now, I still understand the doctrine. I understand why y'all get to these different conclusions. I understand why a white fucking Hispanic wants to pretend that he's black and shit. He's listening to fucking Mobb Deep or something. Talking about, saying the N-word, and he could get away with it. You might get away with saying the N-word. You got a black girl. You got a certain way of talking and dressing and walking, and you want to be down like fucking Brandy. I want to be down with what you're going through. Just want to be down, man. You just want to be a down-ass nigga. And there's a lot of self-hatred with these people. They get a DNA result. Some of these motherfuckers will do a DNA result, a DNA test, and they get the results, and they see how white they are, and they're like, "Oh my God, am I this white?" Oh, it's so sad that that's your reaction to who you are. It's so telling. It's so telling. This motherfucker right here is very hateful of who he is, and you can see him turning red when you start telling him, "Well, listen, nigga, you are white. You came out of a white vagina." Vagina. You came right out of that like this. Just spreading. That's what you did, man. You ain't black. You're not just black. Just if you just say, "Yo, I'm black," and I say, "Well, no, you're not." Well, are you saying I don't have any black in me? I'm not saying you don't have any black in you, but you're saying you're black. You're not black. You're not just black. Why are you saying I'm black? Why are you saying you're white? If you could say that you're black just because you're 30% black or some shit, and you're 40% white, why can't you say that you're white too? You're just saying that you're black. This is the one drop rule, where any little fucking drop of black, that means that you're black, And they used to say, fuck you if you're that. If you got any little drop of black, that was used against you. That was a racist rule that the Hebrew Israelites are pretty much using today. That was a racist law. The one drop law. You got a little bit of black in you? Well, fuck you, nigga. That's how they used to think. Now y'all niggas think just like that. Y'all perpetuating the same shit and trying to make it seem like you on the other side of things. But you think just like a white supremacist. White supremacists think that they're the chosen and black people ain't shit. You think the same thing, that you're the chosen and white people ain't shit. You hate Jewish people just like the white supremacists and neo-Nazis. They hate Jewish people. Just like you niggas in the ISUPK. In the ICGJC and the IUIC. You hate Jewish people just like white supremacists hate Jewish people. This is British Hebrew Israelism on the black side right now. They've been had a 12 tribes breakdown, man. Come on, please give me a break. And break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Yeah, I ain't gonna keep it going, man. We 3 hours in. Turn that shit off right there. I'm going to open the floor up for any questions, man. Let me know. If anybody got any questions, let me know, because it is 12:36 a.m. on TM Meridian. So I don't know how long I'm going to be up. Appreciate you guys coming through. You already know the Dillio, Willio. Oh. Matter of fact, oh, I know you're not here. All right. Damn. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah. I want to make sure my shit's monetized. Yeah, so I got 11,000 subscribers. I'm going on 11.5, 11,500. So that's a pretty good thing right here. Damn. I want to see if I can monetize my shit. I hate the way this shit works sometimes. Can't even monetize it while it's going live. I don't know if I'm gonna get all the ads that are due to me, the ad revenue. Live video. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, he won't let me edit it right now. But it's all good. Shit, my Christian brothers and sisters out there, much peace to you. Constantly coming across you guys on different channels, from Nate to D2 to D New to Built for Speed to KW True, Vocab Malone, Faithful to God, Phil Fox, BK Apologist. This is kind of all the same community, even though I'm not a Christian, but I fucks with Christians. I fucks with Hebrew Israelites too, man. It's just like Christians are way more cooler than Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites are just, they're too much, man. So sometimes I gotta step back. But I don't mind if y'all want to come on as Hebrew Israelite, represent what you gotta say, do what you gotta do, and shit. I mean, it's very telling. It's like the Hebrew Israelites that are seasoned and that do debates, they're probably gonna just be like, oh yes, forget you, nigga. I'm too, I'm more well known than you, and you're small potatoes. And then the Hebrew Israelites that are not that well known, that don't really know shit, they're gonna be like, oh nah, why don't you go talk to Captain Kataza? And it's like, I do try to talk to them. every time I try to talk to these niggas, they want to fucking run the conversation and kick you off, or they don't respond to shit properly. That's why I had to come back. That's why I had to come back and do a video talking about Captain Katazai, my conversation with him. The whole shit went left. Why? Because I didn't agree with him. And I'm just asking him, can you tell me anything about Hebrew found with the Father Nazario stones? Any real? And he was unable to provide me a proper reference. Like, I'm telling him, Christopher Ralston or Dr. Reniel Rodriguez. Dr. Reniel Rodriguez will tell you straight up, this shit don't have Hebrew, man. What else? What else do you want, man? And they're gonna say, well, he's not an expert in epigraphy and archaeology. He's an archaeologist. And he'll tell you straight up, I'm not an expert. He'll tell you that. Fuck what these niggas gotta say. He'll tell you he's not an expert. But he'll refer you to the experts. And what are the experts saying? It's not Phoenician. It's not Hebrew. It's none of that, man. So why keep selling people a fake dream? Like, why is this shit still being spread around like mustard? Like, this, it's already been disproven. Why do we have to keep revisiting this shit? It's already been disproven. It's already been that's it. Father Nazario stones, no Hebrew. Shut up about that. All the videos that are on YouTube where Hebrew Israelites like Aparium, or who's this cat? Aparium means Ephraim, right? Yawasop, Joseph. Yawasop. Why do you have videos on YouTube talking about the Father Nazario stones have Hebrew on it? Why do you lie? Why are you lying to the people? I'm gonna try to take this as a soundbite later on. We'll see what happens. Anybody else? Anybody want to get on this shit? Let me just send an invite. I don't want to keep listening to all these Hebrew Israelites, even though that's what we're doing today. I might continue it, another day. Let me see. This is crazy. Yeah, if anybody wants to get on, there's a link right there in the description. In the comments, I mean. And we could talk about the Father Nazario stones, the Lost Luna Decalogue stone. Thanks for the information. So I'm going to try to catch up with you on the walking videos. Take care. Yeah, I think that's about it's about what that's what I'm gonna do. I'll catch you in the morning. I should be up early. It depends how I feel. I can't promise you anything, man. I hate being so unsure about stuff. People start losing faith in my word and what I say, and when I say I'm going to be on and all of that, and I don't want that to happen. It's just sometimes things come on, come up. I'm a father of 3, married man. I got a lot of things on my plateau. So, all right, man. That's a good note to end it on. 3 hours and 25 minutes in. I could keep going. I love doing this stuff. I love doing this shit, man. Just talking this stuff. I could go on forever. There's no shortage of information on this. Like, it's just going to be constantly something new to talk about. And I'll be here to address anything that comes up with this Hebrew Israelite stuff. Consider me a source, to go up against this Hebrew Israelite stuff, because, like I said, this 10 tribe stuff, that's my specialty. If you want to know anything about this 10 tribe breakdown and why it's false, you have to come to people like San Miguel, man, like myself. And I'm not just tooting my own horn over here. I'm like, literally, I was thinking about something that I like things that I've done and the rebuttals that I have, and I'm like, I never heard anybody else use these rebuttals the way that I use it. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, I never heard nobody use Isaiah 1:18 to go against, his hair is white like wool. The hair on his head and his hairs were white like wool. Well, Isaiah chapter 1:18 says, your sins shall be like wool. How like wool? How would it be like wool in texture? No, and obviously not. Obviously, it's talking about color. And I think I'm one of the first ones to really come up with this rebuttal that shows that when it says his feet were like fine brass as if they burned in a furnace. If you go to Exodus chapter 3, verse 3, Exodus chapter 3, verse 2 through verse 3, it tells you that the bush burned, but it wasn't burnt. This is talking about the burning bush. Burning is present tense, and it labeled it as burned. The bush burned. That is also present tense. So when it says that his feet look like fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace, my friends, it's talking about present tense, not past tense. If John the Revelator was trying to show that Jesus Christ was a man of color, a dark-skinned man, he would have said it plainly. But what, you're going to go to a scripture to say, well, the Lord speaks in parables and dark sayings. So why would God be mad at somebody that might not get it? If you spoke clearly, habla claro, then we would have no choice but to say, okay, well, he told us clearly. Nah, but there's always some sneaky little mysterious, vague shit. Y'all Hebrew Israelites love shit. Y'all love that mysterious little fucking spooky shit. I couldn't have said, yo, I saw the Son of Man and he was a dark-skinned man with an afro that looked like Wesley Snipes. He couldn't have said that. All right, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. 3 hours and 27 minutes, my friends. Yeah, it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. San Miguel TV signing off. Peace in the Middle East and rain in Spain.